with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Indian companion Tonto, the masked rider of the plains, led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Whenever the pioneers gathered around the campfire, they talked of his strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness. And the story of his greatest adventure has come down to us through the generations. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Tonto's waiting on the trail ahead. We've got to hurry. Hail, Silver! Away!
St. Louis was a thriving city of contrast, where the culture and civilization of the East hobnobbed with the adventurous pioneer types who had been or were about to be exposed to the dangers and hardships of the vast, unbroken, and frequently lawless settlements of the western states. St. Louis was an important western railroad terminus, where arriving trains had become too commonplace to arouse interest or demand attention. No one seemed to notice that several cars on one train that pulled in after dark were shunted to a siding and left there while the engine moved away. The cars were just outside the limits of the city. The people in the cars were quiet, speaking only in tense, hushed voices.
Gentlemen, this meeting may determine the fate of the United States of America. I must impress one thing upon you. What is said or done in this railroad car is never to reach the ears of anyone outside. Hickok.
Yes, sir?
You're well known in St. Louis. Did you manage to get through the city without being recognized?
Yes, sir. The man who asked me to come here said to keep it a secret.
Cody, does anyone know you're here?
No, sir.
Before I tell you about the organized threat to the future and security of our country, I'll ask Mr. Calkins to call the roll.
Very good, Mr. Secretary.
One thing. Many of you frontier scouts don't know who I am. Let me explain so you'll fully realize the seriousness of this conference. I am the secretary to the President of the United States. When we're ready for him, the President himself will come from Washington. Now, let us have the roll call.
Hickok.
Here.
Cody. Here. Stewart. Here. Foster.
As the chairman called the roll, the soft light from oil lamps fell upon the faces of government officials, the stern faces of military leaders, and the weather-beaten faces of frontiersmen. The meeting brought these men together on the common ground of sincere love of their country and a grim determination to defend the country against all enemies.
And Swift.
Thank you. I will now get to the subject as quickly as possible. We in Washington have information about a plot to overthrow that part of the government which applies to the states west of the Mississippi. A plot to form a new nation, a nation opposed to those principles upon which our country is founded. Behind this movement is greed and ambition. One man, unknown to all of us, who would make himself an emperor in a free land, threatens to destroy all things that you brave men have fought to save.
Well, what's known about this emperor? About his plans?
Still, very little. Most of what we believe is founded on suspicion and somewhat sketchy deduction. We have reason to believe that his plans are well along, and that he has built up a vast organization.
Are any of the members known?
No living members are known to us. We do, however, feel sure that some of them hold important posts in the government. There is no doubt that many have become influential in communities in the West. They seem to work from the inside, boring into the confidence of the people they plan to ruin. They are trying to gain control of scattered communities until they are ready to merge all these into a new nation or empire.
Hang it, Mr. Secretary, they can't do it. I know what sort of men we've got in the West.
Yes, Cody, but you reckon without consideration of the means those traitors employ. While they get control of the communities, other members of this legion spread poverty, famine, pestilence, and death. They destroy the faith of the people in the government.
Of that, we have some proof.
They teach hatred and intolerance. They arouse suspicion of public officials. They breed mistrust and spawn greed and false ambition. They promise wealth and riches. They're undermining the United States, and they must be put down.
You speak as though you knew a lot about them.
Some of their methods are known.
Any individuals?
No.
How can we fight people we don't know?
That is the problem. The problem assigned to us for solution by the President.
The way you speak, sir, anyone might be a member of this gang.
That is true.
They know us. They know we'll be their opposition, but we don't know them.
I'm aware of that.
They can shoot from ambush. They can lie and steal, murder, anything that's handy.
We can't do those things.
Our task is not an easy one.
And if we fail...
America fails. Gentlemen, we must not only suppress this outlaw legion, we must do it in a way that will go into history as an example for the future generations. A lesson to our children and their children.
If we could only be as unknown to them as they are to us.
That's it, Cody. If we could work in secret.
Oh, how I'd like to meet some of those traitors face to face.
You never will.
Work in secret. How can that be done? Disguise ourselves? No good.
Someone to help us. Someone to ferret out the members. The leaders.
It'd have to be someone we could trust.
Wait. I wonder.
Cody, there's one man.
One man.
Whom do you mean?
We're both thinking of the same man, but we don't know his name.
Don't know his name.
If he knew...
Don't even know where to reach him.
Whom are you talking about?
You may have heard of him, General, but I doubt if the Secretary or these other men will know the man we're talking about. He's known as the Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
What is his name, Cody?
I don't know.
I guess nobody knows his name. He's just called the Lone Ranger.
Tell me about him, Hickok.
Well, there isn't a man in the country who's handy with a rope or gun or who rides a finer horse.
Why, he seems to turn up any place he can be of help, and he never waits around for rewards. But I'd bet my neck he's been responsible for the capture of more crooks than any 10 men.
A broad statement, Cody.
I'll stand on it.
So will I.
He wears a mask. He rides a white horse. It's called Silver. Now, if we could only get him working for us, helping us.
I have heard stories of the fabulous deeds of this man. I don't believe them.
Nor I. What's more, I stoutly disapprove of seeking the aid of a man who refuses to divulge his identity.
Now, just 1 minute, Colonel. We're confronted with a situation that calls for all the aid we can enlist. If a man's loyalty to the flag is unquestioned...
Now, there's no doubt about that. The Lone Ranger has dedicated his life to the service of the West. He loves the West, and he'll do anything to help it grow.
We can't believe all these stories that we hear. You, Cody, and Hickok have a reputation that is second to none. I feel that you, too, can do far more than any masked man.
It wouldn't reflect credit on the Army if we seek out the help of a man who is masked.
Confound it, sir. The Lone Ranger has a reason for wearing a mask.
Do you know him personally, Cody?
No, sir. But I'd sure like to locate him and ask him to help us.
I object to
Now, look
the-
here. You men are really anxious to put down this plot. You'll get help where you can without asking too many questions.
Cody,
Now, let's not discuss it further.
I say let's discuss it. Let's put the matter before the President.
if this man never takes rewards and apparently does no work, how does he live? He has to steal money.
That's a lie, and I'd like to ram it down your throat.
Gentlemen.
Well, he has some sort of a silver mine hidden away someplace. That's where he gets his money.
I still object to seeking help from this man.
Colonel, perhaps if
You'll
we...
pardon me, General. But I'm unmoved by any argument.
Then it's a good thing the decision doesn't rest with you.
Gentlemen, I'll speak to the president. I'll tell him just what you've told me and ask his approval.
Good. Tell the president this is not unanimous.
I'll speak to him as soon as I return to Washington. Meanwhile, you might learn the location of this Lone Ranger.
We'll have to find him. Everyone who rides the western trails will have to spread the word among those we know can be trusted.
That's it, Cody.
Count on my help.
We'll pass the word to all the ranchers.
They'll tell everyone we know that the Lone Ranger is needed.
We'll ride day and night.
We'll spread the word from here to the Rockies.
From Montana to the Rio Grande.
The meeting adjourned. The men moved silently through the shadows to their horses, then secretly left the city. The people of St. Louis, not suspecting that some of the nation's most important men had met there, went on with their recreations and amusements. The gambling halls and cabarets were filled with pleasure-seeking crowds that little realized how the fate of a nation might rest on the developments of the night's conference. But over in one corner of the largest of the cafes, the talk was grim and ominous. One of the men who sat at the table spoke in a voice that was barely above a whisper.
Before I say more, can you show me a mark of identification? Show me a sign.
The man spoken to placed his forearm on the table and drew back the sleeve of his coat. A tattoo mark was revealed on the inside of his wrist. It was small and black, and in the form of an arrow.
The Black Arrow. I'm satisfied. Are you suspected? No. I remain in good standing and attended the conference a short time ago.
What if you're seen in here without your army uniform?
It would arouse no question. I would merely say that I thought it better not to wear the uniform in a place like this. I wouldn't want to reflect discredit on the uniform.
From you, Colonel. That's funny.
But wait before you laugh.
Well,
those Westerners wanted to get the help from the Lone Ranger.
they did. Well, they must not.
I rejected the idea.
Good.
But he may be fighting us in spite of my objections. I argued as strongly as I could. But Cody and Hickok, I'm afraid, have the secretary won over. He's going to speak to the president while the Lone Ranger is sought for.
That's bad. That's bad. We don't know the Lone Ranger.
That's just the point.
As long as we have our spies on the inside, we can learn of plans that are made to combat the Black Arrow. We'll know who is working against us. But this Lone Ranger, we don't know him.
We must get him out of our way.
It is important that we know of this, Colonel. Knowing of it, we'll give the necessary instructions to take care of the Lone Ranger.
If the secretary convinces the president that the Lone Ranger should help, there is likely to be another conference here near St. Louis.
Between whom?
The president and the Lone Ranger.
Good. We shall plan accordingly.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. The greatest Western scouts in the history of the nation were riding far and wide in an effort to find the Lone Ranger. The aid of this masked mystery rider was badly needed by the government. He was being sought for by the special order of the President of the United States. He alone, it was believed, could gather information that would help in breaking up a vast, well-organized plot to overthrow the government and set up a new empire west of the Mississippi. Far and wide the horsemen ranged, pausing only when they reached one of the scattered pioneers whom they could trust.
Jeb, listen to me.
Cody, it's a long time since you've been in these parts.
Now, keep this under your hat. Have you seen anything of the Lone Ranger?
Can't say as I have, not for some time.
Heard anybody speak of seeing him around here?
Nope. What's up, Bill?
If you do hear of him, get a message to him.
Yeah, sure thing. What's the message?
Tell him to get to the Padre as fast as Silver can take him. The Padre has word for him.
Important, huh?
The most important message the Lone Ranger will ever get.
The Padre. You know who you mean?
Yes.
Well, step into the house, Bill. You can do with a mite of food and rest.
I can't stop now. But don't forget what I told you. Get up there.
Oh, she never rode harder than that for the Pony Express.
I'm looking for word about the Lone Ranger.
Ain't heard anything about him around here for some time.
And I got to keep her riding. Go on.
For days on end, pausing only to snatch a bit of food and rest, those Westerners raced on across the plains and valleys, swapping horses with friendly ranchers where their mounts became exhausted. Tirelessly, they pushed across mountains and through ravines, carrying the word, knowing that each time they stopped, the message would be spread in an ever-increasing circle from that stopping place. No one knew where the Lone Ranger could be reached, yet every man felt sure that somewhere, sooner or later, the famous masked rider would learn that he was needed. The Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto were camped in a woods not far from a small town. Tonto had gone into the town for a few supplies, while the Lone Ranger, taking advantage of a few days' rest, overhauled the saddle equipment and inspected the weapons. When Tonto heard that the Lone Ranger was needed so badly that an important message was waiting for him at a certain ranch, he leaped to the saddle.
Put him up, Scout!
At last, the message was on the way to the Lone Ranger. Tonto halted the paint horse at a small camp in the woods as a tall man leaped to his feet.
What is it, Tonto?
Message for you. Men in town may talk. Me fix your saddle. You get ready to ride.
A message, Tonto? Who has the message?
We ride a long way. Me get message from ranch.
Tonto tossed the saddle blanket, then the saddle across the broad back of the snow-white horse. Meanwhile, the Lone Ranger packed the saddlebags, adjusted his mask, and examined his guns. He gave a final tug on the cinch.
There. Now we're ready, Tonto.
You go to Bar J Ranch.
Bar J?
You not wait for Tonto. You go fast. Message plenty important.
Very well, Tonto.
Out to the highway!
The Lone Ranger knew the Bar J Ranch. He'd been there before, and knew that anything that might be told him by Jeb Jackson could be relied upon. For many miles he raced, until at last, streaked with dust, he reined up.
Jeb, I was told you wanted to see me.
I sure do. Man sakes alive, but it must be powerful important. It was Bill Cody that was looking for you.
Bill Cody? Where is he?
Well, reckon he's still out somewhere, spreading the word that you're wanted.
Did he leave a message for me, Jeb?
Yeah, he did. He said that you was to make quick time and get to the Padre as fast as that white-legged horse could take you.
The Padre?
Says you know what he meant.
I do know. Thanks, Jeb. Come on, Silver.
Once more the Lone Ranger rode, pausing only when it would risk the life of the stout-hearted Silver to go further without rest. The Panhandle was behind him. He dashed on a northeast slant across the narrow western strip of Oklahoma, the Kansas border. One more short rest, and then an all-day ride toward Dodge City and its lawlessness. Halfway between the border and the city, the tired man and exhausted horse came to the little mission where the Padre waited.
Oh, Silver! Steady, boy.
You come. I knew you would.
Padre, I was far away when I received the message. Do you have information for me?
My boy, I have a summons. It comes from the President.
The President?
He needs you. When I've seen you refreshed, I'll tell you the story. Then I will send a messenger to the city.
A messenger?
That new miracle of man's discovery, the electric telegraph, will take the President the message he is waiting so impatiently to hear.
Across the nation, from Dodge City to Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, the message flashed faster than a man could wink an eye. Into West Virginia, into the sister states, from Virginia into Maryland, to the District of Columbia, Washington, the White House. Mr. President, a tired man, eyes hollow with lack of sleep, looked up at the secretary.
Yes. What is it?
You told me, sir, that no matter what the hour, I was to come to you when word was received.
Word?
The frontier scouts have reached the man we needed.
The man?
At this moment, sir, the Lone Ranger is riding towards St. Louis.
Go on, Silver. Faster, boy, faster. On, Silver! Away!
While the Lone Ranger rode out of the west, with Tonto following fully half a day behind, a fast train roared from the east. The leader of the nation went to keep an appointment with a tireless man whose energies were devoted wholeheartedly to the service of the country he loved. In St. Louis, where east met west, several cars of one train were shunted to a siding on the outskirts of the city, just as had been the case several weeks before. But this time the cars were not left there without an engine. The iron monster of the rails remained on duty, steam up, ready to leave at a moment's notice. It was after dark. The vague forms of several men moved restlessly about.
I haven't seen him yet, Hickok. Have you?
No sign of him.
We had word that he'd be here. How we know him?
I've never seen him.
Fine assignment we've been given. Make sure of his identity before he's admitted to the cars.
Might match a draw with him. If he's what he's said to be, he'll outdraw either one or both of us.
After the trip he's made? Remember, he had twice as far to ride as we did.
That would slow him up some.
One thing I'm sure of, Hickok. He doesn't get past us till we know he's the right man.
You're right. We've got to be sure. Since the last meeting, I've learned quite a bit about the extent of this plot. It's big, Cody. Mighty big.
Yeah. Bigger, I'm afraid, than any of us realized.
Hear something?
Yeah. A twig snapped. That way, I think. Dark as pitch tonight.
Someone moving this way. There, see? It's a man walking.
Stand where you are, stranger.
Well,
What do you want here?
I'm expecting.
Mask, huh?
Yeah. I had to skirt the city.
Did you walk?
Oh, my horse is over there. I thought it better not to ride too close to this train.
What's the name of your horse?
I might ask you the same.
What's your name?
I never use it. Who are you?
My name is Cody.
Cody. Bill Cody. I've always hoped to meet you.
You know Bill Hickok?
I've heard of him. Wanted to know him, too.
I've heard that there's only one man faster on the draw than I am, mister. I wonder if you're that man.
I didn't think there was anyone who could outdraw Bill Hickok.
There is. If you're going to keep any appointment tonight, you'll have to demonstrate. Slap leather.
He's got you, Bill. Well, not one, but two guns on you, Bill.
Put your guns away. Go on inside that there car. There's a man in there who's come a long way to meet you.
Very well. I'll leave my guns with you, gentlemen.
Hickok, the weeks that are coming are going to make history. You and me and the Lone Ranger.
Please come in here. The president is ready to speak to you. You'd better take that mask off and leave it with me.
I prefer to keep it where it is.
But you...
Now, this door?
Yes, but...
Mr. President?
What does this mean? Who are you? Who let you come in here with that mask on your face? Take it off if you want to speak to me.
Mr. President,
Did I not make myself clear?
You did, sir?
Upon the recommendation of men whom I can trust, I've come all the way from Washington to hear what you have to say. But I don't propose to listen to anyone who won't show me his face.
Mr. President, I'll tell you exactly why I wear this mask. Some time ago, there was a massacre of some Texas Rangers. 6 men were ambushed and shot. There were 6 graves, but only 5 of those men actually died. You see, sir, since then I've worn this mask. If my identity were known, my usefulness would be finished.
I understand.
Here, before you, I want to remove my mask.
Thank you.
There.
You know, your face is just what I thought it would be. What I hoped it would be.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I understand that the future of our country is in danger.
The next few weeks may determine whether the United States will stand or fall. But let me point this out to you before we go any further. From the moment you leave here, your life will be in danger. You will have to work alone, without the aid of our soldiers. If you at any time find yourself in difficulty or danger, and you will have to fight your way out single-handedly. Do you understand that?
Yes, Mr. President.
Tonight, I'm not sure that the guards around this train can be trusted.
Cody and Hickok, sir?
They can be trusted. But there are others. And some of them might be members of the organization we must suppress. It is imperative that our enemies do not learn of the assignment I'm going to give you.
I see.
It is enough to me to know that you will take that assignment.
Whatever it is, sir, you may depend upon whatever help I can give.
Knowing you better from this conversation, I'm confident of that. Tomorrow night, when only the most trustworthy men are on guard, I will give you instructions that rarely would discourage all but the bravest men.
Just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger, Incorporated. A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver. The Lone Ranger. Days of the West, when lawlessness and shooting held sway, a powerful and mysterious organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up, seeking to destroy the United States of America. The government tried by every method within its power to discover more about this outlaw organization, but to no avail. Until at last, the President himself summoned the masked rider of the plains to lead the fight against this mysterious foe, to help preserve the Union and make the western frontier safe for the pioneers. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver, the Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. We're heading for St. Louis. The president wants to see us. Hello, Silver!
Under cover of darkness, the Lone Ranger was holding a series of meetings with the President of the United States. The President was in a closely guarded railway train on a railroad siding just beyond St. Louis. Only a few trusted men knew of these meetings. Each morning before dawn, the masked man left the President and went to the prairie in the campfire Tonto tended. But now it was night again. The sun was down. Tonto accompanied the masked man toward another meeting.
You better not come any further, Tonto. From here on, I ride alone. There's a very close guard kept on the train. Soldiers all around. It's arranged that I meet the President's secretary beyond the guarded area, and he takes me through.
President want to see only you.
Only a few of those with him know about our meetings. I leave Silver a half mile from the train and go ahead on foot, carefully so I'm not seen.
Kimasabi.
Yes, Tonto?
This powwow, heap important, huh?
Very.
What it means? What's happened in West?
Nobody is quite sure what's going on. I spoke to the President last night. There are vague rumors about an uprising in the West. A legion of badmen, outlaws, gunfighters. It's got something to do with a black arrow.
Black arrow?
Last night, when I was in the special car, I was shown a black arrow. But we don't know what it means. Only that in some way it signifies treason and rebellion.
Oh.
Yes, treason and rebellion against the United States. And there's some vast evil force at work, Tonto.
West, wild country. Plenty room for bad things.
Keep a night watch, Kimasabi. Our camp is close to the overland trail from St. Louis to the west. Light no fire and keep your eyes open. If you see any suspicious travelers, take a closer look. It may just happen that you'll learn something. Above all, remember the black arrow.
Tonto, watch till you come back.
The Army garrison is sounding taps, Tonto. Time for my meeting.
Tonto, help too.
The President already knows he can count on you, Tonto. Adios.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver.
Swiftly, the great stallion galloped through the darkness toward the waiting train. When he was several hundred yards away, the ranger spoke to Silver.
Oh, boy. I need cottonwood.
The masked man slipped the reins over Silver's head. Then he left the stallion and headed for the train on foot. He knew the great horse would be waiting for him when he returned. Using all his skill and trail lore, the masked man moved through the darkness like a gray ghost. He passed scattered groups of men. Once he was less than 20 feet from a campfire, but no one saw him. Finally, he reached the spot where he was to meet the secretary. In front of him, two men stood in the shadows. He could hear them talking.
Well, I asked you a question. Is this your post?
No, sir.
Orders were to keep away from the train unless summoned. Your name is...
Flint, sir. Flint.
All right, Flint. Back to your quarters.
Yes, sir. Well, I just came wandering down to see, sort of, that's all, sir. There's rumors around, sir. Is it true the President's on that train?
That's all, Flint. Back to your post.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Flint. Second Company, Cheney's Graves. I'll make a note of that.
Mr. Secretary.
Who's that?
You're expecting me.
The Lone Ranger.
I was told the fewer people who saw me, the better.
Yes. But for a man to come within 2 paces without my knowing, it's amazing. I think the secret will be kept. But here, put this cloak around you. Keep your hat pulled down. I'll take you through the guards to the train, straight to the President.
In the darkness, covered with the cape, no soldier questioned the secretary's companion. In a moment, they were aboard the guarded train. The Lone Ranger stepped into a railroad coach fitted as a private car and toward a desk lighted by a single lamp. The man's face was in shadow, but there was no mistaking his importance and dignity. The Lone Ranger's voice was deeply respectful.
Mr. President.
Good evening. Very well, Fleming. You may leave us.
Yes, sir. I shall be outside the door.
The Lone Ranger, when you first were summoned here, we discussed this.
The Black Arrow.
The Black Arrow. As you know, we take the gravest view of this arrow. We've heard rumors. We believe this arrow to be a symbol for a group of evil men who conspire to turn against their country and make themselves rulers of the West, who conspire to foster rebellion and secession among the pioneers so they may rob our country of the prairie land and the land across the Rockies.
Mr. President, My allegiance is yours and my country's. Tonto and I are at your service.
There are many scouts and brave men of the West who are willing to serve. Bill Cody, Bill Hickok, others. The frontier scouts whom I sent out to carry the word to you. But those men are known. They go unmasked.
Yes, sir. They would be identified at once.
Whereas you wear a mask. If necessary, you could mix with the outlaws as one of them.
I've done that before.
So I've heard. Lone Ranger, I know you wear your mask to aid your country. There are 2 or 3 in my innerst council who disagree. But I believe if anyone can carry out this mission, you are the one. I warn you, it's dangerous.
Tonto and I are used to danger, sir.
Good. Now listen carefully. Before you were summoned, the Army Intelligence Staff sent out 4 men, secretly and separately. They were Army men, but they did not wear Army clothes. They dressed as prospectors, cattlemen, gunmen. They were told to report what they learned. Not one of them has reported back. By telegraph wire, by letter of hand, or in person. Not one.
You think they are dead?
Dead or missing, I don't know. The last one to go was Major Connell. He posed as a gunfighter. He meant to start out from Laramie. It will be your mission to find him or one of the other 3. Perhaps then we shall know how to proceed against this infamous Legion of the Black Arrow.
Mr. President, Tonto and I will do our best.
Here is a list of names. Memorize them and destroy the list. They are trusted and confidential aides through whom you can report to me. I shall be waiting. Goodbye and God speed you.
Keep traveling, Silver. We're heading for camp. We've got to see Tonto and tell him about our mission. Keep riding, old fella. Silver, that's Tonto. What's he doing away from the camp? Come on, Silver. Something must be wrong. Faster. Tonto, what is it?
Me watch overland trail, like you say. Me find man.
A man?
This one not on trail. Him creep through sagebrush. Tonto hear him and Tonto catch him.
Not on the trail?
No. Him stay off trail for reason.
Sounds like trouble. Was he stalking you? Did he have a gun?
No, him not have gun. Tonto not sure him outlaw.
You aren't sure?
No. That's why Tonto come to you. Man, him plenty sick. Him at camp now. Weak, tired out. Tonto put him on blanket. Come for you plenty quick.
Who is he? Did he say anything? Anything at all?
Oh, Tonto not no name. Man not answer. All him do is say 2 words. Over. Just 2 words.
Yes?
Him say, Black Arrow.
Black Arrow.
That's right.
Come on, Tonto. Hurry, back to the camp. I've got to see that man at once.
Get him up, scout. There, man. He's still on blanket where Tonto leave him.
His clothes and rags, Kimosabe. And look at his boots, nothing but patches.
Him travel plenty far.
And his knees. His pants are worn through. The skin's raw and torn. He's been crawling for days.
Him not have strength to walk.
There's nothing but skin and bones, almost a skeleton. How any man could keep going in his condition, I can't understand.
Here. This Indian medicine me fix. You make him drink.
Here. Drink this. It's good for you.
No. Bad water.
Oh, we're your friends. It's good for you. Now, here, drink it. Now, who are you? What's your name?
No, can't talk. Mustn't talk.
Who is he, Kimosabe?
Oh, me not know. Me look for name on clothes, find nothing.
Tell us. Who are you?
Mustn't tell nothing. Nobody. Where am I?
The Overland Trail near St. Louis.
St. Louis. Let's get to St. Louis. Let's get to
Oh, wait.
St. Louis.
Don't try to get up. You're weak. You need rest and food.
Oh, can't rest. Been traveling for weeks, months. I must go on. Let me up. I must go on.
Listen to me. Tonto and I will help you. We'll take you wherever you want to go. Why, in your condition, you couldn't get 50 yards without collapsing.
Now, you rat. Tonto give you medicine. You feel better soon. And Tonto give you food. Little bit of time. Soon you'll be all right.
No time. Hurry, make my report. Tell no one.
Tell no one. Secret mission. Secret mission.
Hello, did you hear that?
Secret mission.
This may be the very man we were to seek out. We may have stumbled across him without... Listen, can you hear me?
Secret mission. Must get to...
When Tonto found you, you spoke 2 words. You said, Black Arrow. The Black Arrow.
Black Arrow. That's it, Black... No. Secret. Say nothing. Say nothing.
Listen to me. We're friends. Is your name Major Connell?
You are friends? Yes. I am Major Connell.
Major Connell, the President is in St. Louis.
The President?
It's still a few hours to dawn. You rest for a while and eat some food. When you're stronger, we'll take you to him.
President? Here. St. Louis. Oh, thank heaven. I can tell him my mission. Tell him what I know about Black Arrow.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Now to continue our story. With the aid of Tonto's Indian medicine and food, the exhausted Major regained some of his strength. It was still several hours before sunup when the Lone Ranger lifted him into Silver's saddle.
There, Major. Can you hold on to the saddle horn?
Yes, I think so.
I'll ride behind the saddle. Easy, Silver.
Me make blanket roll.
All signs of our camper gone?
Hunter scatter fire. Bury ashes.
Good. We won't be coming back here. Well, we'll go slowly because of you, Major.
You're certain the President is here?
He's on a private train on the siding outside the city. When we get near the train, we'll leave the horses to Tonto, and I'll carry you to the train.
I think I'll be able to walk.
Major, you have a long story to tell. You'll need all your strength. All right, Tonto.
Get him out to scout.
All right, Silver.
Yes, man. You might get through alone. Not with me. There's sentries.
It will be difficult, Major. The Secretary isn't expecting you back this time. We'll have to get aboard and rouse him.
Oh! Who goes there? Leave this to me. Major Connell, urgent.
Major Connell. His answer to be recognized.
All right, sentry. Walk your post. I know there have been definite orders to allow me through any time of the day or night.
Yes, sir. You may pass.
The sentry stepped aside. Helping the Major along, the masked rider hurried to the train and into the car next to the President.
This is the Secretary's compartment.
He's awake now. I hear it.
Yes, what is it?
Mr. Secretary, it's urgent.
The Lone Ranger. But I thought you'd left on your mission.
I have someone with me, sir.
Someone with you. If it's dark, I'll get a light.
No light, sir. We must be cautious.
Mr. Secretary, the Lone Ranger has brought me back. I must see the President.
Connell. Major Connell, is that you?
I must see the President.
Yes, gentlemen, at once. I'll wake him up immediately. The President is ready. Come. The 3 men crossed to the next car, through the door and down the length of the car. And once again, the Lone Ranger found himself facing the desk with a shaded lamp, and the President behind it, his face in shadow.
Major Connell, we had feared for your safety. We welcome your return.
I am at your service, Mr. President.
You look as if you had been through a terrible ordeal.
Tonto found him barely conscious, Mr. President, but he was still crawling towards St. Louis.
I understand. Major, do you feel strong enough to tell us what happened to you?
I'll rest much better when it's said, Mr. President.
You understand our need for haste?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Suppose you tell us in your own words, Major. If you feel weak, you may stop.
I'll be able to complete my report, sir. As you know, when I left, I discarded my Army uniform and put on Western attire. I rode to Laramie. I took the name of Burley and posed as a gunfighter and gambler. It took a while, but apparently my reputation was established. Because one night, about a week later, a group of men burst into my hotel room while I lay sleeping. What in blazes is
Your hands off your gun belt, Burley.
by you? What's your smile for? What are you taking you for a trip?
Hit him with a gun.
No, you don't. When I came to, the blindfold was on my eyes. My hands were bound behind my back. I was in the saddle. One man was with me. I don't know how long we rode. It might have been for a day, or a week. It might have gone in circles. All I know is I was in continual darkness and that we seemed to be going up. The air was cold, thin. I recall that before I dropped off again. Then the next thing I knew, the horses were gone. I was standing. The blindfold was gone from my eyes. I was in a great rocky cavern. Men were all around me with black handkerchiefs on their faces. At least 100 men. There were 2 great fires at the far end of the cave. Between them I saw a man on a platform. He, too, was masked. Then I saw that the fires cast a shadow behind them. Flickering shadow that joined together to form a black arrow. I was in the cave. The black arrow.
Keep your organization to brains and might. We're going to take over the West for ourselves. The army is scattered. They'll never know when or where we fight. Indian uprisings, stagecoach robberies, prairie fires. We'll use bandmen and tankers, and no one will ever know. We're the Legion of the Black Arrow. We'll tear the stars and stripes off every flagpole west of the Mississippi. We'll build an empire of our own. Yay! After our enemies. Hooray! The West shall be ours. Hooray! The Legion of the Black Arrow. Hooray!
Those were the aims of the Black Arrow. Murder, bloodshed, and treason. And then the meeting broke up and the men separated.
All right, Burley. Come along. Somebody wants to talk to you.
This way.
I was led into a dark corner of the cave, away from the men. I could hear the rumble of a river that flowed out of one wall of the cave and disappeared in the other. I was brought face to face with a man wearing a black kerchief. He might have been the leader who spoke before. I'm not sure.
This is Burley?
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, what's this all about? Am I
Quiet,
local?
Burley, listen. You were brought here on our orders. For the 10 days you were in Laramie, we watched you. We decided you were the sort of man we need in the Black Arrow. You're smart, you're an outlaw, you're quick in the trigger. You want to join the Legion of the Black Arrow?
Well, yeah, I like the idea, but suppose I don't.
You join or you die.
You mean you'd murder me?
It's midnight now. Dawn will come in 5 hours. You have until then to make up your mind.
It sounds keener to me. Black Arrow.
You'll stay in this cave. Do not go into the valley outside. Do you no good, there's only one trail out, and that's closely guarded. No one has ever escaped from here. You have until dawn.
After he left me, I knew I had to get away. I went to the cave entrance, but I was not allowed to go into the valley. I knew he'd meant it when he said it would do me no good. For hours, I walked in the cave, trying to find a way out. Then, just as dawn lightened the entrance from the valley, I saw an underground river at one corner of the cave. As the men came toward me, I ran for it. It was almost certain suicide, but I had to take the chance. Get him! He's trying to get out of the river! Shoot!
We've got him. He's in the underground river. If he ain't dead now, he will be. He'll never get out alive.
Look, his body is drifting under the rock.
But somehow I did get out alive. I don't know how. I was wounded and half dead. Indians must have found me on the bank someplace miles away. I remember things only in dreams. I was delirious. All I know is I kept heading east. Always east. That's all. Then Tonto found me, the Lone Ranger brought me here. That's all, Mr. President.
Major Cuddle, there's no need for me to tell you how brave you've been. Now get some rest.
Thank you, sir. I am tired.
Come. There's a berth in the next car.
Oh, there's one thing more, Mr. President. In the cave, I noticed the members of the Legion have a black arrow tattooed on the left wrist. It might help in identifying.
Tonto! He's fainted.
I can get him to bed.
It's beginning to get light, Lone Ranger. You must be away from here by dawn.
Yes, Mr. President. I understand my mission.
The Legion of the Black Arrow has a secret meeting place and leader. You must find both. You must work alone. You'll report to none but me and my chosen aides. The Union must remain one and indivisible. You must dedicate your life and that of your Indian companion to this task to save your country from treason and sedition.
Tonto and I are Americans, Mr. President. I leave at once.
The masked man took his leave. Once again, he slipped through the line of sentries and made his way to Tonto and the horses. There he told him briefly what the president had said. Behind them, as they talked in low tones, they could hear the stir of the encampment.
So, that is our mission, Tonto. We must not fail.
We find Black Arrow.
We're heading west. A long way west. Scout ready?
Scout him ready.
Reveille. The camp will be awake very soon. Time to ride. After me, Kimosabe. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
That's them, sir. That's the Lone Ranger in his car.
We're a little late, Flint. I had to be very careful leaving the train. I was able to learn enough to know that the Lone Ranger's been given a mission to destroy our Legion.
There they are against the horizon, sir. I can...
No, don't shoot, Flint.
But we...
No, you'd miss at this distance. Besides, it would rouse everyone. The president would wonder why I'm out here. He might get suspicious of me.
Yes, sir. What do we do?
Get your horse. Ride at once for the valley of the Black Arrow.
You mean I'm to desert?
Yes. Desert the army. Get there and report to our leader. This masked man gets around a lot. If we can discover his real identity, penetrate his disguise, it'll help us. We can use him as a decoy.
Kino, I'll pass the word. Nothing can defeat the Black Arrow. Nothing.
You have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. During the years of unrest that followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors, and for once his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of a great horse, Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! On the tail of the Black Arrow! I'm Silver!
Armed with a secret commission from the President of the United States, the Lone Ranger raced across the plains to the west of St. Louis. His faithful Indian companion, Tonto, rode at his side.
Come on, Silver! Head on, Scout!
On and on they rode, on toward the hidden stronghold of the Legion of the Black Arrow, on toward danger, guardians of the future of the West. They made camp one night on the banks of the Platte, and as they prepared to mount the following morning, the sun drove away the mist, and a range of mountains loomed on the distant horizon.
The Rockies, Tonto.
Maybe we find Black Arrow Cave there.
They cover a lot of ground, from New Mexico to Montana. The Hidden Valley might be even farther west, in the Sierras.
That's right.
Major Connell was drugged and blindfolded when they took him there. He was weak and delirious when he escaped. All we know is that there's a valley and a cave somewhere.
It take long time to find it.
Unless we can find someone to lead us.
How we do that?
The members of the Black Arrow must report to headquarters.
Uh-huh.
And we know that every one of them carries the mark of a black arrow on his wrist. Find one of them. Follow him. The first part of our mission has been carried out.
Then you not hunt through mountains.
It would take us years that way.
Plenty long time.
The leader of the Legion may stay in the valley. His men don't. They're working all the time to undermine the government and terrorize the settlers. No matter where we start, we're sure to find one of them. That's the first step. Let's hope we can take it soon.
Hip!
Ready, Tonto?
Tonto ready.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
But during the next month, a strange quiet descended on the frontier. The most lawless towns became peaceful. There were no Indian uprisings. Road agents disappeared from the trails. The Lone Ranger rode into Fort Lincoln in the dead of night, and the guard escorted him to General Cartwright, one of the few men the president had suggested he contact. But before the masked man could bring up the subject of his mission, the general asked permission to read a part of his monthly report to the chief of staff.
My opinion, the ruling that every post must be fully garrisoned at all times can now be repealed. I recommend that the Army return to its previous practice of sponsoring expeditions to study the country and of providing a military escort for any wagon train that desires one. What do you think of that, Masked Man?
I agree, General. It's a wise suggestion.
I've written something else. You won't agree with this. The Secretary of War has been pleased to hint there is some secret and powerful organization at work in the West. I find no evidence of such an organization. The years of bloodshed and violence on the frontier are past. The West is at peace.
You wouldn't have written that report a month ago, General.
No, perhaps not. But I'm writing it now.
I hope you're not mistaken.
You don't agree. I knew it. Do you know anything more about this secret organization than I do? I respect your judgment, Masked Man. And if you can give me one tangible piece of evidence, I'll admit I'm wrong.
I can't give you any evidence.
And my report stands.
But I respect your judgment, General. And I'm sure there's something you won't forget.
Why? Well, what do you mean?
There's often a lull before the storm.
Lightning flashed and thunder rolled across the valley high in the Sierras. The rain poured down, and the great cavern at the far end of the valley gave shelter to hundreds of men. The Legion of the Black Arrow had gathered to receive the orders of their leader. He stood before them on a stone dais. The lower half of his face was covered by a black cloth. His eyes reflected the light of the two fires that leaped toward the roof of the cavern on either side of him. His hands met above his head. Behind him appeared the sinister shadow. The shadow of the Black Arrow.
Legion of the Black Arrow shall triumph. Aye! The West shall be ours. Aye! Death to our enemies. Aye! We have been summoned here from all parts of the West. So far you have done your work well. But the time has come for even greater efforts in the cause of our glorious destiny. Aye! Please come up here. Tell them what happened in St. Louis.
Sure. The President sent out word to locate the Lone Ranger. And 2 months ago, they met in St. Louis. They don't know much about us in Washington. Just our name and what we stand for. It's up to the Lone Ranger to find out the rest. He's supposed to find this hideout. Let him try. Let him try.
That's enough, Flint.
I'd just like one crack at that mask.
Enough. Never make the mistake of underestimating your enemies. That's a lesson you all must learn. And I'm telling you now that if anyone can defeat us, it's the Lone Ranger. Tomorrow morning, this valley and this cabin will be empty. All of you will be on your way back to your posts. Some of you will receive new ones. You'll receive new instructions from my lieutenants. There's been a month of peace in the West. Tomorrow we declare war again. This time there shall be no pause until the final victory. The Legion of the Black Arrow shall triumph. Aye! The West shall be ours. Aye! Death to our enemies. Aye! Death to the Lone Ranger.
Warlord.
Yeah?
Now that we're out on the trail, I got a question to ask you.
About what?
Are you the leader?
What makes you ask that?
Well, I never saw him except in the cave with that black scarf over his face, but you're just about the same build, and you talk something like him.
Do I?
Yeah, something.
No one knows the leader, Flint.
Not even you?
It isn't wise to ask questions. Sometimes one finds out too much. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I guess so.
We have a job to do, you and I. Let's concentrate on that until we've finished it.
You're the boss. Where are we heading?
Fort Lincoln.
The Lone Ranger's around there, and General Cartwright. He's the best commanding officer the Army's got in the West.
Exactly, Flint.
Huh?
Your first job will be to round up a gang of outlaws. Men that'll do anything for money.
Well, they won't be members of the Black Arrow.
That won't be necessary.
Yeah, then it's easy. I can find plenty. What's next?
You're going to re-enlist in the Army.
I can't.
Under a different name, of course.
If they find out I deserted in St. Louis, they'll put me in jail.
You're going to jail, Flint.
Huh?
The charge won't be desertion, however.
Now, listen, Twilight.
Remember your oath.
Yeah, I know, but what's the sense of going to jail?
It isn't your place to question orders.
What good it'll do?
I'll tell you that. By going to jail, you'll bring about the disgrace of General Cartwright. He'll be court-martialed, retired from active duty. The Army will lose its most able commander.
I don't see how I can do that.
The plan's very simple. Just listen.
Halt, who goes there?
Friends.
Hang up or I'll shoot.
The general's expecting me.
The mask.
I have a pass. Here.
You're an outlaw. Reach for the sky.
What's going on there?
The masked man, General. I got him covered.
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Everett, sir.
If you don't mind, masked man, I'll take that pass.
Here you are, General.
This was presented to you, wasn't it, Everett?
It's too dark to read out here. Besides, I thought it was a trick. Sorry if I did wrong.
No, there's no harm done. You'll learn.
Yes, sir.
Come with me, masked man. I want to talk with you in my quarters. When Tonto rode in here the other day, I had to send for you. I had to confess I was wrong. It was the calm before the storm.
Yes, General.
You don't have to be told, of course. But there's a wave of crime and violence sweeping over the whole territory. The Indians are becoming a problem again.
They won't go on the warpath if you can keep the settlers off their reservations.
And I'm doing my best. But just in case, I'd like your advice.
What about?
The defense of this post. Can 100 men hold it?
Against any force the Indians around here can raise.
Well, that's fine. I don't want to discontinue the escorts for the wagon trains. But the country's alive with outlaws. There isn't a gold train that has a chance of getting through without a strong guard.
When does the next one leave for the east?
I don't know. We have one wagon in the fort now. The owner's anxious to get on. But so far, I've refused to allow it. There'll be others coming soon, and I hate to waste a detail on one wagon. Who's there?
It's Torlock.
Well, that's the owner I was talking about. I'll have to see him.
It would be better if he didn't see me.
You can wait in the other room.
Yes, sir.
General Cartwright.
Coming. Well, Torlott?
I'm here to demand my rights.
What do you mean?
You've held me up here for nearly a week. I won't stand for it any longer.
You're free to leave the fort whenever you want to. But I only have a certain number of men, and I can't afford to waste them.
I'm leaving here tomorrow morning, General. Tomorrow morning at daybreak.
Torlott, you don't realize...
I realize that I've stayed here long enough. If I drive out of here without a military escort, Washington will hear of it.
Good night, Mr. Torlott.
Good night, General.
The fool. Washington shall hear of it. As if they didn't know my problem. Masked man, you can... Well, that's strange. The window's open. He's gone.
Flint.
What the...
Quiet.
Oh, it's you.
Are your men all set?
Yeah, they've made camp in the hills to the east.
Time you left here and joined them. I'm leaving the first thing tomorrow morning.
Well, you gotta wait for more wagons.
I'm not waiting for anything. Not with the Lone Ranger around.
The general won't give you an escort.
Oh, yes, he will. He won't like it, but he won't take any chance of my being ambushed. The only thing I'm worried about is your men. Can you make them attack after they've seen their soldiers with me?
They get them so filled up with stories about the gold in your wagon that attack a whole army.
Good. I'll get out of here and join them.
I have to wait until I'm ready. Look, Torlock.
What?
Torch over there by the general's quarters. It's a masked man carrying it.
Yes.
He's getting mounted.
I can't be seen with you.
Look at that horse travel coming straight toward me. What's the idea of the torch?
Look out there!
He's going to throw it.
What the hell,
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. When the Lone Ranger raced out of the army post, he headed straight for the camp where Tonto was waiting. There he told his faithful Indian companion of a discovery.
I'd never seen the man's face before, but his voice was familiar. You remember my telling you about a soldier in St. Louis?
That night you talked with Great White Father. Him get close to train.
It sounded like the same voice. That's why I threw the torch. Well, it startled him. His right hand was on his rifle. He threw his left one up to protect his face.
And what you see?
The sign of the Black Arrow.
The fine man you look for?
We found a member of the Legion, yes. But a not very important one.
You tell General?
Not yet. We don't want this man Everett to suspect anything. We'll let him go ahead with his plans if he has any. But keep an eye on him all the time.
That's good.
You'd better go to the post and stay there. Report to me the moment anything happens.
Time to do it.
You're back soon, Kimosabe.
You saddle Silver. Ride.
Here, Silver. What's happened, Tonto?
Tonto get to fort. Him see man run away from stockade. Go to hills.
Deserter?
Maybe so.
Was he in uniform?
Ah.
Do you think you can follow his trail?
Not easy.
There's a wagon leaving the fort at daybreak. If Everett's working with the outlaws around here, he might be trying to get word to them.
And that's what Tonto think.
Or it might be someone else. We'll have to find out what he's up to. Steady, boy. Just tighten the cinch.
It's not long till day comes. Lighten east now.
We've got to hurry. Yep. Come on, Silver. Get him up, Scout.
As the Lone Ranger and Tonto rode away from their sheltered camp, the light in the east grew stronger. And by the time they reached the fort, they could see a great covered wagon starting out with a detachment of soldiers riding alongside. The masked man and the Indian made a wide circle of the fort and picked up the trail of the deserter at the foot of the hills. On they raced until they came to a clearing in a wooded valley.
Been a camp here, Kimosabe.
Ah.
It's a fresh camp.
That's right.
I think we were right about outlaws. Our deserter joined up with them.
Men ride that way.
Yes, to the east. The same way the wagon's heading. How many, Tonto?
Maybe 10.
The soldiers should be able to handle them, but we'll do what we can to help. Come on, Silver.
Come on, Scout.
Wagon's coming. Ready with your guns, boys.
Wait a minute, Flint.
Yeah.
You said there wouldn't be any soldiers. There's a half a dozen
We
anyway.
can take care of them.
I don't like it.
We'll have them covered before they know what's going on. It's worth taking a chance, Butch. Think of all that gold.
Yeah.
When I say the word, dig in with your spurs and follow me.
Up high with your hands.
Somebody behind us.
The first man who comes around gets a taste of lead. Up with your hands and ride down onto the trail.
Flint. I know that voice. It's the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger?
Yeah, we better do what he says. Come on. Get up there.
Get up. Come on, get up there.
Right down the slope to the trail. You don't have to touch your reins. And keep your hands up.
Don't shoot, mister.
That's far enough. Gang of outlaws, open fire.
No, it's the Lone Ranger. You captured him.
Detail out.
You're prisoners, Sergeant. They were planning to rob this wagon.
Well, I don't say they would have gotten away with it, masked man, but we sure appreciate what you've done.
One of them wore a uniform last night.
Everett.
Well, wasn't there an absence without leave reported?
We left before inspection. You're all right, though. This hombre enlisted about 2 weeks ago. There's a court-martial waiting for you, mister.
Think so?
I know. You and your crooked friends are headed for the guardhouse.
Just a moment. Does this mean I'll have to turn back?
Sure, these prisoners got to be delivered to the general.
But when will we get started again?
Oh, you won't lose many hours. You ought to be mighty grateful to the masked man that you haven't lost your gold.
Oh, I am, Sergeant. I'm more grateful than I can say.
The outlaws were taken back to the post and thrown in the guardhouse. A few hours later, Torlock drove away with a new escort, and that night, Flint was court-martialed.
Is Everett your real name?
Why, sure.
The Lone Ranger heard your outlaw friends call you Flint.
Well, that's just what I told him.
Very well, we'll let that pass. You're charged with desertion and robbery armed. How do you plead?
Guilty.
And I've sentenced you to...
Just a second, General. I can't go through with it.
You can't go through with what?
Our scheme. I know you promised you'd protect me even if we didn't get the gold, but I
Protect you?
Colonel Sumner, all the rest of you gentlemen. This is a court, isn't it? I got a right to speak, haven't I?
Order! Just what is it you have to say?
I'm going to tell the truth.
Swear him in, Sergeant.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Proceed with your testimony.
Gentlemen, this holdup wasn't my idea. General Cartwright planned the whole thing.
Order!
He made the proposition to me quite a while ago, before I joined the Army. And all I had to do was get a gang together and tip them off about gold shipments whenever the General passed the word along. He was to get half or whatever we took.
General! Yes, Colonel?
May I ask a question of the prisoner?
You may.
I'm sure that I speak for all my brother officers when I say that none of us believes this outrageous charge. I demand that the prisoner give us proof of this accusation or hold his tongue.
I have proof right here. This statement is in General Cartwright's handwriting. You can see that for yourself after I finish reading it. I'm afraid he might not give me protection, and this was my insurance. Now listen. I, Leonard Cartwright, hereby admit full responsibility for the planning and execution of any and all hold-ups in the vicinity of Fort Lincoln or any other post where I may be the commandant. And I also promise that
So that's what was behind this hold-up, Tonto. This plan with the sole purpose of disgracing General Cartwright. You have an arrow?
Right here.
Must be black. Well, a little fire will take care of that.
And what you do?
Flint has been working under orders from the Black Arrow. We're going to change his plans. Quick, Tonto. We must go and get everything ready.
And I also promise that if John Everett is captured during the course of such a raid, I will see that his sentence is suspended at the earliest possible moment. Signed, General Leonard Cartwright.
It must be a forgery.
If I'd kept quiet, he'd have kept his word. I know him. But I can't go through with it. I want to pay for what I've done, and I want him to pay, too.
Hand that paper over.
Sure. Let him see it. He can't deny it's his handwriting.
General, we'll take your word.
I never wrote this.
That's all we need.
Oh, wait. You're wrong, gentlemen.
Wrong?
I know what the general means. You haven't got the right to declare him innocent. This case must be tried in Washington.
A charge has been made. It can only be considered by my superiors.
But there'll be a scandal. If some newspapers learned of this, they'd start yelling for your scalp.
I must face the accusation unless it's withdrawn.
I'll never.
What the?
What? A black arrow. It came from that window. Outside, Sergeant. Find out who shot it.
Yes, sir. Come on, there's a note. Let me see it.
Hand that over.
Not till
Give me that paper at once.
Sure. You're lucky, General.
What does it say?
Plans changed. Tell the truth. Was this message meant for you?
Yep. That's why I said you were lucky. The statement's a forgery, gentlemen. I'm withdrawing the charge I made. Go ahead, General. I'm ready for my sentence.
The sergeant reported that he'd been unable to find anyone outside the building where the court-martial had taken place. A systematic search of the post was ordered by the general, and Flint was returned to the guardhouse. As the general neared his own quarters, the Lone Ranger and Tonto stepped out of the shadows.
General, what?
Masked man. I wish you could have been present at the court-martial. It was amazing. First, this Flint, or Everett, or whatever his name is, accused me of being a crook.
We heard most of it. Tonto and I were just outside the window.
Just that. But couldn't have been you that shot that arrow.
It was Tonto.
But why?
To make Flint tell the truth.
Do you realize what it might have meant if he hadn't?
I certainly do. Disgrace and the loss to the Army of one of its finest soldiers. You're a marked man, General. It's time you learn the meaning of the Black Arrow.
At that moment, Flint heard his name called at the window of his cell.
Flint,
Torlock, I knew you must be around someplace.
I had to come back and find out how you made out.
Fine.
You told the story just as I rehearsed you?
Yeah, and then I showed everybody the paper. The general sure would have been in plenty of trouble if you hadn't changed your mind.
Changed my mind?
It was an awful risky thing to do, shooting that arrow into the room. Suppose you had to act fast, though, huh? What happened, anyway?
You've been warned not to ask questions, Flint. Just to follow orders.
That's what I did. As soon as I read the note, I told him the statement was a forgery. That was right, wasn't it?
It wasn't I who shot that arrow, Flint.
It wasn't? Well, then who was it?
Another question?
I'm sorry, but you can't blame me for being mixed up.
No, I can't blame you. You finished your work. That's all you have to worry about.
Is there any chance of my getting out of jail?
Black Arrow never forgets its members.
I hope not.
Would you like a drink, Flint?
Sure.
Here you are. You can keep the flask.
Thanks a lot.
I'll have to be going. Drink to the Black Arrow, Flint.
I sure will.
Good night.
So long. The Legion of the Black Arrow shall triumph. Death to our enemies.
You stay here, Sergeant. Masked man and I will talk to the prisoner alone.
Yes, sir.
If he's a member of the Legion, we'll make him tell us where the hideout is.
It won't be easy.
We'll clean them out. We've got to. This is the cell. Well, Flynn?
He's asleep.
Wake up there.
Wait, General. He isn't asleep. He's...
Torlock. Flynn!
It's too late, General. The man's dead.
You'll not stay long in guardhouse, Kemosabe.
We're leaving, Tonto. We're going after Torlock.
That man who'll drive wagon?
The man who gave Flynn his orders. We'll find his trail and follow it to the end. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Oh, Silver!
Speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. That followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains that led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors, and for once his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're on the trail of the Black Arrow! Help, Silver! Away!
had discovered a plot directed by the Black Arrow Legion and summoned a sheriff and his posse to capture the bad men after a sharp battle. Then the prisoners were herded back to town by the sheriff's deputies, while the ranger and the sheriff stayed behind to look for signs of any Black Arrow men who might have escaped. But suddenly, the sheriff pulled a gun on the masked man and snarled, "Hoist your hands high, masked man. Make one move and I pull the trigger pronto."
Sheriff, are you crazy?
No, I ain't. I had to string along when the posse was around. I even had to let the boys get captured. But I was just waiting for a chance when the two of us might be alone. Mister, in case you want to know, I wear a tattoo mark myself.
You?
Yeah. You didn't figure I was a member of the Black Arrow, did you?
So that's it.
Yeah. Not one of my deputies know it. But I'm telling you for a reason.
The Legion of the Black Arrow can't win.
You think it matters because that posse is putting the gang in jail? Only 2 of them are Black Arrow members. The rest were just hired special for the job. They don't matter a coyote's howl to us. But you do. You matter plenty.
The Army will locate your hideout.
Not a chance. It's hid away up in the mountains, high above... no, you don't. Pretty smart hombre, huh?
That depends. What are your plans for me?
Oh, we got big plans for you, mister. You'll stay alive, savvy? You'll stay alive, but you'll be our prisoner. We'll get information out of you if we have to torture you to drag it out. We'll take your mask off and find out who you are. And then we'll put that mask on one of our own men to send him out in your place. That ought to work out pretty good, seeing that nobody ever saw you unmasked, huh?
You talk big, Sheriff. Or should I say ex-sheriff?
Suit yourself, mister. But we've powered long enough. Time to move along.
You got the drop on me.
Which same I aim to keep.
It only takes 1 bullet. Why don't you shoot?
Got plenty of nerve, haven't you? I know, masked man. We got orders to find out what's under your mask.
You'll never make me take off my mask.
No? Well, we'll see about that. Now do just what I tell you. Keep your right hand high. Unbuckle your gun belt with your left. Move it slow.
My left hand?
No trick. You may have a draw like lightning, but this gun's already aimed and the hammer is cocked. Go ahead. Unhitch that belt. So. Now, slide the belt off the saddle and let it drop. Well, I feel better now with your guns on the ground. I didn't figure you'd give in so easy. I always heard the Lone Ranger was a tough hombre.
What's the next move, Sheriff?
That mask. Take it off.
You'll have to make me.
Take it off. You know, mister, there ain't nobody around to stop me from shooting you.
Accept your orders?
I can forget my orders. I can say I had to shoot.
You're not bluffing me, Sheriff.
I ain't bluffing. You're too all-fired calm to suit me. It's getting under my skin. Now take off that mask or I'll... What's that?
Sounded like a bird.
Yeah, a night bird. Yeah. Better do it pronto, masked man. I'll wake up more than 1 bird if I have to shoot. I'm giving you till I count 3. 1, 2...
Keep it funny. What the...
Tonto! Get up, boss. Get past him.
Kimasabi, him right way. We go after him, huh?
No, Tonto.
But we catch him easy.
No, let him go. I want him to lead us to the men higher up.
Oh. Tonto's happy now.
You heard the talk between us?
That's right. Me walk scout up plenty slow till we get close. Him Black Arrow, huh?
Yes, Tonto. Rather than capture him now, it's better for us to follow his trail. Let him get a good head start so he doesn't suspect we'll be after him.
You not hurt?
No, not touched. He had his gun right on me, too, but I dropped to one side of the saddle when you came in.
You hear me give bird call, huh?
Yes. I'll get my gun belt.
It's plenty good me leave posse come back to you.
If you hadn't, I might have been done for. But I heard you close by, and the sheriff didn't.
And what we do now?
Well, we'll wait till morning, Kimosabe, and we'll pick up Sheriff Brady's trail and get after him.
That good. Me fix campfire.
But when dawn came, the Lone Ranger and Tonto had to change their plans about setting out at once after the sheriff. For while their horses were being saddled...
Steady, Silver. Steady, old boy.
Scout all ready. What matters, Silver?
Stand still, old fella. The saddle. Silver, what's the matter with your leg?
Oh, him lame.
Let me see, old fella.
Look, there.
Bullet burn along his leg, Tonto. One of Brady's shots must have hit him.
It's bad?
No, just glanced off the bone. That leg will be stiff for several days. We can't trail Brady now, Tonto. We'll have to wait.
Howdy, Torlock. Got here fast as I could.
Where's the masked man, Brady?
Well,
Speak up. You were given definite orders about the Lone Ranger.
They didn't work out.
You failed.
Well, it wasn't my fault. I stayed behind the posse like it was arranged for me to do. I was alone with the masked man. Had the drop on him.
Well?
That doggone redskin part of his come hightailing out of the woods. I had to vamoose fast.
Did you come straight here?
Sure.
And you were a sheriff.
Huh?
Members of the Black Arrow Legion should be smarter than that, Brady. You know, I've got a good
Hey,
mind.
don't pull your gun on me. What'd I do?
You neglected to cover your trail. Suppose the masked man and the Indian are after you.
Why, No, they can't be. It was dark. They couldn't follow a trail. Besides, I've been watching the back track. There's no sign of them.
All right, Brady. It's too late for talk.
Yeah. What's my orders?
Head for Montana.
Montana?
You'll go to Virginia City to the Silver Lode Bar. There'll be a man dressed in black boots, black trousers, black braid coat. He'll have a red string tie.
Uh-huh.
The left-hand corner of the bar.
What's his handle?
You'll learn his name later. You'll identify yourself to him in the usual way.
I savvy.
Frequent the bar until you meet him.
Keno, I'll head that way right now.
Look almighty dusty.
I've been traveling far. Give me 2 fingers straight.
2 fingers. There you are, 2 fingers.
Leave the bottle.
Sure thing. I'll be around if you want me. Just holler.
Howdy, stranger. I don't recollect seeing you around, Helena.
I just got in.
What's your handle?
My name is Brady.
Brady, huh? You always stand at the left-hand corner of the bar?
I do when it's a Silver Lode bar.
Mm-hmm. Where you hail from?
Mister, I came so fast it's hard to say.
How fast?
Fast as an arrow.
An arrow? Any particular color?
Yeah, mister. Black.
That's so. You're wearing a wristlet, Brady, on your left wrist.
So are you.
You got something under it? Like this?
I have, mister. The same.
A black arrow tattooed. Well, you made good time, Brady. Get to your horse. Meet me at the first creek on the trail to Virginia City. We can talk there.
Hello. I'm here, Brady. Waiting for you.
I was sent here by the Legion.
My name's Craddock. I've been expecting you.
I wasn't told what's stirring, Craddock.
Trouble is stirring, Brady. Trouble for the Black Arrow. Now listen close.
Shoot.
There's a meeting due to take place soon in Helena. A meeting to decide whether the territory of Montana stays a territory or puts in a request to the United States government to become a state.
What? If Montana gets into the Union, it's going to be bad for us.
The Black Arrow's got to make sure that doesn't happen. Savvy?
Yeah. What's the scheme?
That depends, Brady. There are 6 more delegates besides me. They've been appointed by meetings all over Montana to come to Helena and decide the matter.
You? You're a delegate?
Well, sure. Why not?
But you're a Black Arrow man.
The gents who made me a delegate don't know that.
Oh, I get it.
There's 2 other delegates besides me who are going to vote against becoming a state. They're honest. I just convinced them by talking.
3, huh? That still leaves 4.
Keno. And in this case, the majority wins. Unless we do something to get a majority, the chances are mighty good that Montana becomes a state. And that's just what the leader of the Black Arrow doesn't want. Savvy?
Yeah. How about shooting?
Too much talk. These hombres are delegates.
Oh.
I tried talking to them. That was no good. So the next step is scaring them. The first one to tackle is a gent named Donald. Bill Donald. He and his wife are camping out in a covered wagon near South Gap Pass.
That's the way I came into town.
We can start their way now. Shouldn't take us long, and it's dark. Plenty dark. Get up, get up.
Bill Donald.
Huh? Hey, what's that?
The riders come up the trail from the south.
Yeah, I can just make them out in the firelight. Gosh almighty, Sarah, look at that white horse the big fella's riding. Did you ever see such a horse?
Hello.
Howdy.
Welcome, stranger.
Well, I'm looking for a man riding a star with a white blade on his left foreleg. I wonder if you've seen him.
I was in town all day, mister.
How about you, ma'am? I believe he took this trail.
Ah.
trail plenty old, but we find it.
Why, yes, mister, I do remember a horse answering that description. He passed this afternoon. As I recollect, the man had a heavy mustache.
That sounds like Brady.
He's a law after him. You along him?
Not exactly, but...
Sorry.
Tonto, what is...
Look out!
Bill!
What in blaze? It's an arrow. Somebody shot an arrow right into our wagon.
Tonto, that's a black arrow. We'll be back, mister. Come on, Silver. Hit him up, Tonto.
They're going after him. Bill, what in the world can it mean? What's so particular about a black arrow?
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Now to continue our story. When a black arrow flew through the air and struck Bill Donald's wagon, the Lone Ranger and Tonto dashed off into the darkness in the direction it had come from.
Arrow come from this way.
What's the trail, Tonto?
You not see anything.
Straight up. Stop.
Look out.
Steady, Silver. The cliff, Kimosabe. I can't see the top.
It's plenty steep. Fellow who shot the arrow. Get way, huh?
Yes, Tonto. We're heading back to the covered wagon. I want to have another talk with Donald. Come on, Silver.
Howdy. Getting any sign of who shot this arrow, mister?
It was shot from the top of the cliff, Donald. Whoever was up there hurried away.
Well, hop off your horse, stranger. You too, Injun. Want you to meet Jeff Hanson, a friend of mine.
Glad to know you, Hanson.
Bill's telling me about you. He said, well, I'll be a jailhawk. Donald, this will be masked.
What's that?
Why, so he is. Reckon his hat cast a shadow before.
Masked, huh? What are you, an outlaw?
Not outlaw.
That's enough out of you, Injun. You two better vamoose before I start spitting lead.
You're making a mistake, Hanson. We're friends.
Donald, are you loco? You letting this gent hoodwink you? For all you know, maybe he had something to do with that black arrow.
Now, hold on, Jeff. Something about this hombre. Well, I trust him. We're all going to be friends.
Donald, what does that arrow mean to you?
The arrow don't mean a doggone thing to me, mister. There's a note attached to it. That's heavy that, all right. Yeah, here it is.
Change your vote.
That's all it says.
Your vote on what?
You mean you don't know? I reckon you did come a long way then. Why, Bill Donald and me are delegates to the meeting in Helena.
Meeting?
That's it, Masked Man. There are 7 men in town here to vote on whether Montana should apply for admission to the Union as a state. That's what the fuss is all about.
The votes are shaping up 4 in favor and 3 against.
I see. And this arrow is a threat to change your vote and make it against statehood. Is that it?
Right, mister. Matter of fact, I got one of them black arrow notes myself. That's why I come over to talk to Bill.
Yeah, we've been wondering if this is a little stunt of Craddock's.
Craddock?
Craddock leads the opposition votes, mister. He's a sneaking coyote, if you ask me.
I see. Tonto, head for Helena. See if you can locate this man, Craddock. I'll follow you later and meet you at the edge of town, south of town.
Tonto savvy. Adios. Get him up. Come.
Now, Donald, ma'am, you too, Hanson. I'll tell you about the Black Arrow. I'm sure they're at work in Helena right now. You may find this hard to believe, but that Black Arrow that flew out of the night is the sign of the biggest and worst outlaw band the West has ever seen.
Close that door, Brady. We're all here. Yeah. Keno, everybody sit down.
Speak your piece, Craddock.
I got just one thing to say, gents. The Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger?
Yeah, he's right close by. You tell him, Brady.
Craddock's right, gents. The masked man and the engine must have trailed me and got here. We know because we saw him when we called on Donald to persuade him to change his mind.
All right. So we didn't get very far persuading. Now we got to do more than just talk, savvy?
Craddock, we don't know what your game is, but we're being paid to do what you tell us. We're listening.
Keno, Red. The day after tomorrow in the morning, there's going to be a meeting.
Yeah. The vote on whether Montana has to become a state.
Right. That meeting's already scheduled. It won't be changed. There's 4 votes against our 3. You gents savvy where I'm leading to?
We
got to get 2 of those votes out of the way, huh?
Correct, Brady.
Sure they won't change?
After tonight,
With the Lone Ranger egging Donald and Hanson on?
Yeah, reckon you're right.
Well, it's up to you boys.
Don't worry, Craddock. We'll get Donald and Hanson tomorrow night and keep them tied up far from town. They won't vote.
All right, Red. That's all, gents. Scatter for now. Tomorrow night, Brady will bring you word where to take them to.
Like you say, Craddock, caught in thunder.
What's the matter? Why are you staring out of the window?
Thought I saw somebody peering in.
There's nobody there.
I don't see nobody.
Yeah, guess I was wrong. All right, gents. Get out the back way. I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Adios.
Adios.
Brady.
Yeah?
Was there someone at that window? With a Lone Ranger around, a lot can go wrong.
No, there couldn't have been. It must have been just a reflection in the glass.
I hope so.
Craddock, why didn't you mention the Black Arrow to Red and the boys?
We're Black Arrow men, but they're not, Brady. They're just bad men on the loose. Pay them, they don't ask any questions. You and me are the only Black Arrow men in on this setup. And we're supposed to keep that as secret as possible. Tell them. Don't be a fool, Brady.
You're a fool, too, Craddock.
Torlock, I thought you were heading for the hideout.
I've been there and back, Brady.
Torlock, we were just settling how to take care of this.
I heard you from outside, Craddock. I called you a fool because I wasn't the only one who heard you.
Huh? You mean someone else?
I saw him as he left. An Indian on a paint horse.
Tonto.
Yes, the Lone Ranger's partner.
He was the one you spotted through the window, Brady.
Yeah, jumping Mavericks, Torlock.
Yes?
If the engine heard us, that means he knows our plan. That means the masked man will be ready for the boys when they go after Donald and Hanson.
Smart hombre, aren't you, Brady?
What are we going to do? We got to swing that boat.
Smart, but your brains won't be needed.
Huh?
I've thought of the answer already. Your gang won't go after Donald and Hanson tomorrow night.
Well, that makes sense, Torlock. It's risky.
Yeah, it's too risky.
But what else can we do? Even if the Lone Ranger and Tonto are there waiting for us.
We can do something else, Craddock. Donald and Hanson aren't the only delegates, are they?
Huh?
There are 4 altogether. What about the other 2?
Yeah, Torlock. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Meanwhile, Tonto reached the outskirts of the town and met the masked man.
Hi, Kimasabi. Hi, Tonto. You were successful?
Tonto see Brady. Him with man named Craddock. Tonto here plan. Tomorrow night, gang of men take Donald and Hanson way so they not vote. Tonto come past, tell you what he find out.
But Tonto did not know that Torlock, a leader of the Black Arrow, had made a change in those plans. Nor did the Lone Ranger know. When the masked man and Tonto rode back to the covered wagon where Donald and Hanson waited.
Masked man, did you find out anything?
Hanson, you and Donald must be ready. Craddock plans to have a gang of outlaws capture you tomorrow night. And I'll hold you prisoners until after the meeting in the morning.
Mister, thanks for the warning. I reckon with you to help us, we can beat off any outlaw band.
I think we can. We'll be ready for them when they come tomorrow night. Ready and waiting.
So the next night, Donald and Hanson sat before the fire, apparently alone. Hidden behind the canvas of the wagon top, the masked man and Tonto waited. The men talked in whispers.
Masked man, sure they won't spot your horses?
Silver and Scout are in the dark, Donald. They'll come when they call.
I got a feeling something's wrong. You sure of your facts, Injun?
Tonto here. What them say?
The night's dragging on. Nothing's happened yet.
Oh, you're jumping at the moon, Hanson. They'll be alone.
They will, unless they've changed their plans.
Why, sure. It's plumb 9 cinch, Hanson. And if Sarah's hand away so she can't get in the way of any stray bullets, why, I'm looking forward to a gunfight. We sure surprise them.
Where'd your wife go, Donald?
I sent her over to stay with Moore and Petrie, mister.
Moore and Petrie. They're the 2 other delegates who are supposed to vote with you?
Sure, same as that. The way you say that makes me wonder.
I can hear a horse, Donald. Just one horse.
Tonto here now, too.
So do I. Travel fast in this way.
Bill! Blaze, it's my wife. Something's up.
Bill, where's the masked man?
Right here, Mrs. Donald. What is it? Why did you leave Moore and Petrie?
I didn't leave them. They left me and the wife.
What's that?
I come as fast as I could. Masked man and Black Arrow outfit tricked you. Instead of taking my husband and Hanson like you figured, they took Moore and the Petrie.
2 boats. Really?
The whole gang headed along the Needle Trail not half an hour ago.
The Needle Trail? You're sure?
Positive, masked man.
Then there's still time. Hello, call Scout. Here's Silver.
It's Scout's masked man. You going after
Yes, Donald. They must be at that meeting by morning.
Then we'll go with you.
No, there isn't time. Your horses could never keep up with Silver and Scout. You go to that meeting.
But look here.
Go to the meeting. Got to prevent a vote as long as you can. We've got to get Moreland and Petrie away from that gang. Ready, Tonto?
Me ready.
Then after me, the Needle Trail.
Get him up, Scout.
At breakneck speed, the great stallion in the paint raced through the darkness, cutting across country to Needle Trail. Then, at a word from the Lone Ranger, the horses stopped.
He's here. Horse on trail ahead. That must be gang.
Sounds like a dozen at least, Tonto. We'll have to take them by surprise.
And what we do?
Their guns are loaded.
Uh-huh.
The trail slopes upward ahead. It's getting light enough so that we can see them as they top the rise. Mullen and Petrie will be tied. They'll be in the middle of the gang. We've got to lift them off their horses and get away before we can be cornered.
That means Silver and Scout carry 2 riders.
Yes, and they've got our distance pursuit carrying double. It's a long chance, but it's the only one. Now, after them. Don't gallop until I give the word.
We'll never get away with this, mister. We got a meeting to make this morning. We're delegates to the territory.
You won't make that beat, missy. I reckon Montana will stay a territory.
Why, you...
Shut up. Keep your mouth closed, Mullen. They may not live at all. The rope turn and steer for Fred and what the...
This way! Help!
Like a double bolt of lightning, the masked man and Tonto charged into the surprised outlaws. Before they could gather their wits, the ranger was in their midst.
Mullen, Petrie, we're taking you with us.
The rope delegates were lifted from their saddles. Silver and Scout wheeled and galloped headlong, leaving confusion behind them.
Mister, who are you?
Never mind that. We're taking you back to Helena.
Your horses are carrying double.
Our horses can outrun any in the west. We'll get you to that meeting in time. Come on, Silver.
Hit him up, Scout.
All I'm saying is we can wait a mite longer. Mullen and Petrie are delegates to this meeting. If they don't show up...
If they don't show up, it's their own fault. I demand the vote.
It's not their fault. You had something to do with this, Grant.
That's true, that. I demand the vote.
Looks like we're licked on it.
Yeah, I reckon so. All right, gents. Looks like there's nothing I can do any longer to stop a vote. Looks like the will of the people of Montana isn't going to be carried out. Thanks to...
What in thunder? What's that?
Colonel Heston, the masked man, get us here in time. Moreland and Petrie, you got here. Gentlemen, call the vote. Montana's going to join the Union, thanks to the masked man.
Look, Craddock. Rode your horse to a lather getting out here. The Lone Ranger beat us again, didn't he?
You know about it, Torlock?
Brady told me, Craddock. Don't worry, we can still prevent Montana from becoming a state. That petition has to go all the way to Washington, remember? And as for the Lone Ranger, look there, down in the valley.
What? The masked man. Him and the Indian. Are they heading this way?
Yes, along the trail. They'll be up here in about 3 hours, Craddock. Get an ambush ready for them. And make sure you don't miss.
Is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger, Incorporated. Fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors. And for once, his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're on the trail of the Black Arrow! On, Silver! Away!
As the Lone Ranger and Tonto rode south from Helena, two members of the Legion of the Black Arrow watched them from the pass high above the valley.
The masked man. Him and the Indian. Well, they're heading this way.
Yes, along the trail. They'll be up here in about 3 hours, Craddock. Get an ambush ready for them. Make sure you don't miss.
Keno.
Get rid of him and you'll have a place of honor at the next meeting in the cave.
Oh, wait.
What's the matter?
Look at the other pass. The one from the west. You got a spyglass, Torlock. Those black specks. Aren't they men riding down to the valley?
Yes.
Pack train?
They've hailed the masked man.
Sort of funny. They must know him by that mask and make him think he was an outlaw.
They're soldiers, Craddock.
Soldiers?
My guess is that's General Cartwright at the head of the column.
And the masked man and Indian are turning around. They're riding to meet him.
Our chance is gone.
No, it isn't. He'll be riding south alone sometime. I can hang around with the men and wait for him.
There isn't time, Craddock. The Black Arrow has other work for you hundreds of miles from here. Work that can't wait.
What's up?
I'll explain that later. When we've joined your partner.
Huh?
Karen is waiting for us just outside of Denver.
Karen. I don't like her.
That isn't important. She has brains and you'll need her. Come on.
Get up there.
Did you follow the instructions you received, Karen?
I have the clothes I was told to get, and I'm here. That's all your message said.
You seem to resent the fact you didn't say more.
It didn't surprise me. You guard your plans so carefully, Torlock. The leader must be very proud of you.
At times he has been.
Or perhaps you even guard your plans from him.
That would be impossible.
Oh, cut it out. What's the use of all that palaver?
I always make it a point to let Karen get her hate for me talked out. Afterwards, she'll be ready to go to work.
I'm sorry. It's wrong for me to hate you. We're both working for the same cause.
Why don't you cut it out?
I'll tell you why. I've only been to the cave twice. I've never seen the leader's face.
That's nothing. Nobody has.
But I'm thrilled to his words. The Legion of the Black Arrow shall triumph. I'd die for him.
We all swear allegiance to the death, Karen. That doesn't explain your hatred of me.
Because you remind me of him.
Do I?
There's something in your voice. I think you try to imitate him, and you're so different. The leader's like a bright sword cutting through the night, and you...
Yes?
A knife that strikes in the back. You're cold and ruthless and cruel.
So are you. I'm not cold, Craddock. The leader has called her to flame.
Yes?
It wasn't a compliment. When you flare up, you're apt to lose your good judgment and act on impulse.
Oh.
But you'll try to learn more self-control, won't you? And follow orders without...
I've never disobeyed an order.
Without question, Karen.
Yes, Torlock. I'll obey without question in the future.
And listen. Have either of you heard of Stephen Hayden?
No.
I have. He's an editor in St. Louis.
He's coming west.
What for?
To live. In Bennett City, to be exact. He's bought the Frontier Times.
What about it?
We disapprove of his ideas. He believes that if the Indians are treated fairly, we won't have any more trouble with them.
That's true enough. With tribes like Thunderclouds, anyway.
The Black Arrow wants trouble. Even now, the leader is planning to arouse the Indians in revolt. We must put an end to Stephen Hayden's influence before it has a chance to be felt.
And how do you plan to do that?
He's never been west before. He isn't known in Bennett City at all.
How'd he buy the paper?
All the transactions were carried on by mail. But he and his daughter are starting from St. Joe's in a week.
I see. His daughter.
The Black Arrow will make sure that he never reaches Bennett City. You and Craddock will arrive instead.
Take their place, huh?
That's right.
But I don't know anything about running a paper.
Don't worry. I'll be close at hand to give you all the advice you need.
And all I have to do is play a part?
You'll find it's a part that's worthy of the flame. We start in the morning. Death to our enemies.
death to our enemies.
What's the matter, Mary?
Nothing, Father.
You seem to be worried.
I'm just wondering, that's all. The agent in the last town said we'd follow a long, low ridge all the way into Venice City.
We are.
But the bridge is on our left instead of on the right. And this road is so bumpy.
We haven't found any that are very smooth.
I don't believe it.
Oh, did you hurt yourself?
No. I don't believe this is the main trail. Why don't you ask the guard why we're coming this way?
These men know their business, Mary.
The country's so wild. I've been wanting to see a few trees, but there's so many around here. As if we're heading straight into a forest.
It was a mistake to bring you with me.
Oh, no, it wasn't. You're going to need someone to make a home for you.
You're nervous.
I haven't been until now. Father!
Now what?
Look over there. There's a band of men riding out of the trees.
Well?
They're masked.
Get down on the floor.
Not unless you do.
I have a gun we can fight.
You said these men knew their business. It's up to the guard to protect the coach.
He's only one man against a half a dozen. He can't hold them off.
We're stopping.
Perhaps the driver's wise. They wouldn't have a chance to find it out.
There's a woman with them.
All right, Mr. Hayden. Step out of the coach with your hands high.
Do as he says, Father.
You'd say I'm not carrying much money with me. I take it this is a holdup.
In a way. Get his wallet and all his papers, Craddock. Right.
My papers? Remember your cover.
Yes, one false move and I'll have to shoot.
I noticed you weren't bothering to cover the guard.
The guard happens to be a friend of ours. That goes for the driver. They're friends and willing workers.
They're crooks.
Not at all, Miss Hayden. You'll understand everything when I have a chance to talk with you and your father.
What do you mean by that?
You got everything, Craddock?
I guess so.
Make sure.
I'm sure.
And it's time for you to join your father outside, Miss Hayden.
You want me to?
You wouldn't harm a woman.
That depends on you. I'm waiting. And unless your daughter obeys me at once, I may have to...
No, please don't you.
Inside the coach, Craddock. All right, Karen.
Must you always use our name, Tolak?
There's nothing to fear from these two.
Pretty little fool. I'm glad there's no need for acting like her.
Hurry. You have your instructions, Craddock. Identify yourself, take over the newspaper, and then wait for me.
How long will you be?
I'm going to have a talk with Mr. Hayden. It won't take long. Get going, driver.
Hey, get up here. Get up. Come on, get up.
Bring up those horses.
Where are you taking us?
You're to be our guests.
They're going to hold us prisoners.
It's all right, Harry.
Into the saddle, both of you. Give them some help. That's the idea. Back to camp, boys. Dig in with your spurs.
The news of Indian unrest had brought the Lone Ranger and Tonto south from the gold country. First to Denver, then east to Dodge City, and south to Abilene. Then on to Bennett City. The great horse Silver and Scout raced along the trail. Suddenly the masked man raised his arm and a signal to stop.
What banner came, Wasabi?
We've been following the wheel march the last stage that came this way. They've disappeared. I think we'd better investigate.
Maybe so. Other trail cut away from this one. Back there.
Yes. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout. That's not main trail.
It leads to the other side of the ridge. Then it cuts back to this one beyond. I can't understand why the stage should take it.
Stage turned here, all right.
Bad country on the other side of the ridge.
Plenty bad.
We'll follow these tracks, Tonto. I don't like the looks of it.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver.
Well, Mr. Hayden, you rested after your hard ride?
A little.
I think you realize it would be almost impossible for anyone to find you here.
Why are you holding us prisoners?
I figured that out. That man and woman who got into the stage are going on to Bennett City. They're going to pretend they're you and me. Why, Tonto?
Because we need your paper.
What does a band of outlaws want with the paper?
Did you ever hear of the Black Arrow?
I've heard something.
The Legion of the Black Arrow?
Yes. There's supposed to be a secret organization.
Not supposed to be, there is. We're pledged to destroy...
We? You're one of them.
Yes, Mr. Hayden, I'm one of them. We're pledged to destroy the power of the United States west of the Mississippi. We're building a new empire.
You're crazy.
The men have often been called crazy. Perhaps you have yourself. In regard to the Indian problem, for instance.
Kindness and tolerance are the only things can solve that problem.
Exactly the course we shall follow when they're under our rule. But until that day comes, they must be kept in a constant turmoil. Angry and bitter against the settlers, anxious for revenge.
It's all right, dear.
Of course it's all right. You know, we respect your brains, Mr. Hayden.
We'd like to have you work for us.
What's that?
We offer 2 rewards. In the future, a high place at the side of the Emperor. Right now, $100,000.
What if I refuse?
I have business in Bennett City. I'm going to leave you here with the men.
Can't you take these ropes
You'll
off?
think better of them on. I'm going to leave you here to consider the alternative.
And what's that?
The alternative is death.
No use, Father. I'll never be able to get those ropes loose. They're cutting into your wrist more and more.
The light from the campfire doesn't reach us here. I've got to keep trialing while I have a chance.
It's no use. Please don't.
I'll never give in to that madman. He's asking me to be a traitor to the United States.
Can't you pretend to give in? We only have a little time.
We haven't.
Someone's bound to find out that man and the girl are impossible people alone. They'll start looking for
That
us.
won't do any good. And I don't think pretending will do any good either. If I accept that man's proposition, it'll make me do something right away to incriminate myself.
Who are you?
Father.
Don't cry out, please.
A masked man.
You can't be a member of the gang.
I'm not.
Will you help us?
Who are you?
Stephen Hayden. I'm from St. Louis. This is my daughter.
That's enough. I'll cut your ropes and get you out of here.
Did you make that noise?
Yes.
Sounded like a bird.
We'll soon have horses here.
No, is that you?
Quick. I'll help you up behind Tonto, miss.
Yo, answer me.
Go on, Tonto. Here's my hand, Hayden. Up.
Hey, what's going on over there?
Get him up. Come on, Silver.
Oh, he's just a prisoner. They're getting away. Let's get after him.
The curtain falls on the first act of our thrilling Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Our story. The Lone Ranger and Tonto rescued Stephen Hayden and his daughter from the camp where the Black Arrow were holding them prisoners. In spite of the fact they were carrying double, Silver and Scout soon left their pursuit behind. And just before dawn, camp was made in the woods outside of Bennett City.
That's fine, Tonto. You've chosen a spot where the fire can't be seen from the trail.
You say you're not an outlaw.
No, I'm not.
And we aren't prisoners.
No.
Then why won't you take us into Bennett City?
Because it isn't safe. You've told me there's a man and a girl who are using your name.
That's true. I would have found the sheriff and denounced them.
But you've also told me they took all your papers.
Yes.
And there's no one in town who can identify you.
Well, no, but...
And how are you going to prove your statement?
He's right, Father. You can't.
Well, take Inspector Abilene. The express agent there will answer for us.
Mr. Hayden, while you were in that camp, how much did you learn about the Black Arrow?
They're a band of traitors, and they're trying to overthrow the government.
Did you meet a man called Twarlock?
Yes. He offered me $100,000 to join them.
That must give you some idea of their wealth and power. They're all over the West. Even sheriffs, bankers. Men who are respected by everyone. Well, they belong. If Twarlock isn't their leader, he's one of the Legion's most important officers.
I can believe that.
You could accuse him of treason against the United States, couldn't you?
Of course.
But he intends to use your paper to incite the settlers against the Indians.
That's what I gathered.
If we let him go ahead with his plans, this may be our chance to capture him.
I see. You want to give him enough rope to hang himself.
Yes.
If I only knew who you were. I feel that I ought to trust you, but you're masked.
You hear him call Horse Silver?
Yes.
Of course, Silver.
Him Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger. Oh, Father, you've got to do what he says.
I will, masked man. Anything at all.
Then, for the time being, just stay here where you'll be safe.
But how can we find out what's happening?
Tonto, you'd better start for Abilene right now. Get the express agent and bring him back here.
You know him?
Yes. Here, give him this silver bullet and he'll follow your instructions.
Yes, Scout.
Tell him that he'll have to be away for several days to make all the arrangements necessary. When the time comes to identify you, Hayden, we'll have to do it in a hurry.
How can you find out what Torlock's up to?
As soon as Tonto gets back, you'll help me with a disguise, and then I'll go into town.
Maybe Black Arrow men there.
It's a chance we'll have to take. All right, Kimosabe.
Get him up, Scout.
It was early that evening that Karen raced along the main street of Venice City and reined up in front of the newspaper office. The girl was crying. As she swung from her saddle, a crowd of townspeople surrounded her.
Let me through, please.
I'm the sheriff, Miss Hayden. What's happened?
Please, I want my father.
Clear the way there. Spirit. What's the meaning of this?
Oh, Paul, I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
I rode out of town to see the sunset in the red.
Alone?
Yes,
I warned you not to. There's Indians around here. Well, they're only Thundercloud's tribe, Mr. Hayden. You don't have to be afraid of them. Mary, just what happened?
I rode a long way. I didn't realize it. It was getting dark when I turned back, and then I saw them coming over the ridge. Indians.
Boy, they wouldn't have hurt you.
They started yelling and shooting at me. One of the arrows came so close, I thought it hit me.
Must have been Apache.
I don't know. They were painted. Red streak down his cheek. One across their forehead.
Does that sound like Apache? No, it sounds like Thundercloud's men. They haven't put on war paint for years. You heard my daughter. Yes, but I... Look, there's an arrow stuck in the saddle blanket. I guess that's proof enough. Well, if the kind Thundercloud uses... This means war. Oh. Now, wait a minute, Hayden. The Indians your daughter saw may be renegades. I'll go to Thundercloud's village tomorrow and have a talk with him. A talk? I tell you, his tribe is peaceful. And I say they're murdering savages. The Times is putting an extra tonight, Sheriff. The whole territory's going to learn about this. I'm calling on every decent man to ride against Thundercloud's tribe and wipe them out.
Well done, Karen.
You saw it, Paula?
I was watching from this office window, carefully, of course. I didn't show myself, but I could see and hear everything.
My congratulations on your caution.
Bring Craddock in here.
Well, why don't you...
That's an order.
He's giving the story to the men. They have to set it up in type.
He's had plenty of time for that.
Very well. Oh, here he is now.
How long before the papers will be printed?
Just starting. I guess 3 or 4 hours.
That's good enough. As soon as you've finished, have the men distribute them all over town.
Keno.
Karen and I are leaving Bennett City, Craddock.
You are?
Right away. You'll be leaving before morning as well.
But I thought
the reason we've struck so fast here and the reason we're moving out is very simple.
The Lone Ranger.
Yes, he's somewhere around. And the real Stephen Hayden is with him.
What's the sheriff going to think if if Karen and me disappear?
You're going to take care of that.
Hmm?
After the men have left the printing office, you'll wreck the presses.
Wreck them?
Wreck this office, too. I have some evidence that you'll leave behind here.
What kind
Take
of...
a look at it. An arrow, a belt, and a tomahawk. All with the markings of Thundercloud's tribe.
Where'd you get them?
Who knows? Perhaps Thundercloud gave them to me himself. You understand, Craddock?
Yeah, sure. It'll look as if the Indians carried me off.
Exactly. Come, Karen.
I'm ready.
And hurry.
My mask, Tonto.
What did you find out?
I didn't see Torlock, but you're taking over the paper tonight, Hayden.
Tonight?
An extra's being printed. The county reads it, and Maybe open warfare with Thundercloud's tribe.
What you say?
The girl who's taking your place, Miss Hayden, came riding into town with a story that Thundercloud's braves had tried to murder her.
Oh, that's not true.
The sheriff found it just as hard to believe, but the settlers may believe it. We can't wait to catch Torlock. You'll have to expose those imposters at once. Hayden, you and your daughter can ride the extra horses Tonto brought from Abilene.
Them all saddled.
We'll get mounted.
Yes, sir. The sheriff knows you, doesn't he?
Sure.
He'll take your word about Hayden.
If he don't, I'll bust his head in.
You'll be glad to, but we've got to hurry.
We're all ready.
Then come on.
Get him up.
The Indians on warpath. Thundercloud's brutal murder attempt. A call to arms. That's fine, boys. This paper will wake them up. Now, I want all of you to grab a bundle and distribute them before you go home. Don't miss a single house in town.
Up with your hands.
A masked man. That's the sheriff with him. Hey, what's up? What's your name? My name? Why, you know my name, Sheriff. I'm Stephen Hayden. He isn't telling the truth, man. Here's the real Stephen Hayden. He was taken prisoner between here and Abilene. This man's an imposter, and he's under arrest.
You have work to do, Hayden. Right.
This paper belongs to me, boys, and my first order is to burn all those papers. We'll have an extra, though. An extra that tells the truth about the gang this man belongs to and what they're trying to do. Come on, help me cut these lies outside.
Into the office, you. You'll want to have a talk with him, won't you, masked man?
Yes.
Well, if not here.
Neither's the girl.
Just try and find him.
We will.
What's your charge against me, Sheriff?
First, it's holding up the stage, and second... What's that? There it is, Sheriff. On his wrist. The mark of the black arrow.
Yeah. What about it?
That brands you as a traitor.
Try and prove it.
Hayden can do that, and he will. Just as soon as the sheriff turns you over to a United States Marshal.
A tattoo mark isn't any proof.
You'll find out differently. Hayden found out the meaning of the black arrow from Torlock himself. His daughter was a witness. The second charge is treason. And you'll pay the penalty.
What answer you got to that? The Legion of the Black Arrow will triumph. Who are you? Where's Torlock now? You'll never find out from me. I'll show you.
It's no use, Sheriff.
Not even death.
I know your oath. All you can do is lock him up and turn him over to the government. One thing I must warn you about, Sheriff.
What's that?
Don't mention the black arrow to anyone.
Why not? Seems to me that the more people that know about it, the better.
The government doesn't seem to think so. When the right time comes to strike against them openly, you'll call on every loyal American. Until then, you must guard the secret of the black arrow as carefully as they do themselves.
Whatever you say goes, masked man. Of course, I'd like to help.
And for the time being, just make sure your prisoner doesn't escape.
Yeah, you can depend on that. At least we stopped them from making any trouble with the Indians.
We can't be sure. They may be trying to arouse them as well as the settlers. Well, Tonto and I are riding on.
Good luck, masked man. I don't have to tell you. You're fighting for the lives of every man and woman in this county.
We'll do our best. Come, Tonto.
As the Lone Ranger and Tonto raced out of town, the first gray light of dawn rimmed the sky. On they rode. The great copper sun rose above the horizon. The distant hills took shape through the morning mist. And suddenly, the masked man raised his arm in a signal to stop.
Steady, Silver. Look, Tonto. That isn't mist, is it?
No. It looked more like smoke.
A signal.
That's right.
What does it say?
Brave from Thundercloud tribe. Make signal. It called for help. Needs help plenty bad.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up. Come.
The prairie was left behind. Into the foothills they rode. Signals had stopped. A great rock marked the ridge where they'd been sent. And sure of their destination, the masked man and the Indian raced on. At last the rock could be seen. Then a faint thread of smoke still rising to the sky. As they reined up, they saw an Indian lying on the ground.
Quick, Tonto. That brave's been hurt. Bring the canteen. How to do it? He's trying to get to his feet, hanging onto the rock. We saw your signal. What's happened?
Listen. Danger. Chief Thundercloud. Impal.
He was trying to warn us about something. We've got to save his life, Kimosabe. Hurry, Tonto.
of light, the cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. Followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors. And for once, his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're on the trail of the Black Arrow! Come, Silver! Away!
The masked man and Tonto were crossing the plains when they saw smoke signals in the distance. Silver and Scout galloped to the spot, and the Lone Ranger found an exhausted Indian.
What does it mean, Tonto? When we got to him, this Indian cried out, "Danger, Chief Thundercloud," and he fell to the ground.
He makes smoke signal to us.
His horse carried him here before he collapsed.
That's right. Horse, wounded.
How is the Indian, Kimosabe?
Not hurt like we think at first. Him fall to ground because him faint.
You got the canteen?
Here.
More water, Tonto. Who's coming too?
Here, water.
Running Wolf all right now?
Running Wolf, we're your friends. What did you mean when you said danger, Chief Thundercloud?
Running Wolf, remember now. You masked man. Friend of Chief Thundercloud.
Don't try to stand up till you've got your strength back.
That all right now? When my horse take me from Indian village, that Indian fire at my horse. Horse come all this way before he die. I make smoke signal for help.
We saw the signals. We crossed the trail.
Running Wolf, you wear paint of Thundercloud tribe.
That is so, my brother. Thundercloud sent me to find you. I've traveled far.
There's trouble at Thundercloud's village?
Much trouble, masked man. Bad trouble. Pretty soon we ride back to help Thundercloud, yes?
Yes, Running Wolf. Silver can carry you as well as me. Just what is wrong?
Running Wolf, tell you. 2 moons ago, braves of the tribe hold meeting without Chief Thundercloud. Hold meeting in night, away from wigwams. I go to meeting. I did not know that meeting was to elect new chief in Thundercloud's place.
We need a new chief. Thundercloud is old. No longer can he lead us on the path of the hunt. No longer can he make strong medicine. Thundercloud is too old. No longer can he lead us on warpath.
Wait, Tomahawk. Wait.
What is it, Running Wolf?
What is this talk? Since when do we take the warpath once more?
Not yet, Running Wolf, but soon. Soon we take the warpath. Soon we put on war paint and ride against settlers who come into our land.
The settlers are our friends.
They are our enemies.
Why do you say this, Tomahawk? Those are not the words of our great chief Thundercloud, nor of me.
I say it because it is true.
Lately you've had many guns, Tomahawk. Your belt has been heavy with gold. Did someone give you this gold to turn against the settlers and against our chief?
You are as clever as the wolf after whom you are named.
I am a brave of the tribe. Why do you not give me straight answer?
I will not answer you, Running Wolf. There is no need for me to answer. All the rest of our braves believe as I do. The Thundercloud is too old, too weak. Is that not so? So, Running Wolf, do you join us?
Who will you put in Thundercloud's place?
I will be chief of the tribe.
I refuse. Thundercloud is my chief, and I will protect him with my life.
Get him, kill Running Wolf.
Yes, he must die. Seize him.
There in the darkness, but I was strong. I battled away from them and slipped into the night.
So a brave named Tomahawk is setting himself up in Thundercloud's place.
Kimasabi, we get Tomahawk.
Wait, Tonto. I think Running Wolf has more to say. All this happened 2 months ago?
Yes, White Brother. 2 moons ago. I escaped, but I stayed near a village of my tribe. Tomahawk became chief in place of Thundercloud.
They not hurt Thundercloud.
No, Tonto. They make him a prisoner in own wigwam. Even Tomahawk not coward enough to kill Thundercloud, the great chief.
Did you speak to Thundercloud, Running Wolf?
Yes. I wait for my chance to see him, hiding by day in the arroyos. And then at last, 3 nights ago, there was no moon. I left my horse and stole through the darkness to Thundercloud's wigwam. He told me to ride at once, that only you could help him. So I followed Thundercloud's bidding, masked man. My horse was wounded as I left the village, but I rode on. I reached the Padre and learned where you were. Now you must come. You must save my chief.
Here, Silver. In the saddle, Tonto.
Oh, Scout.
Oh, now, Running Wolf, take my arm. Up behind me.
Get him up, Scout.
You are following a false omen, Tomahawk. I say to you, there must be no more fighting. No more war hoops.
Thundercloud, you are no longer chief. You are old, and you will not be harmed, but I am chief. I do not like your talk.
Who pays you to do this?
No one.
I am old, but my ears know you tell a falsehood.
Get into your wigwam before I forget and have you killed.
You will be sorry for this someday.
When Running Wolf brings help, he...
What do you say?
Nothing. I say nothing.
I also have ears. So Running Wolf has gone for help.
Thundercloud, I'm sorry.
It does not matter, Grey Antelope.
No, it does not matter. Perhaps you will not live after all. You! Guard him well. I ride into the forest for a short while. No one must follow me. Here!
In a rude lean-to, well hidden in the forest, 2 men waited for Tomahawk. The leader was tall and dark. He had black hair and a black mustache, and his eyes were black also, sharp, shining eyes like the eyes of a savage hawk. It was Torlock, a man known to the Lone Ranger as a member of the dangerous Legion of the Black Arrow.
Keno Torlock is Tomahawk. Must be coming from the village.
He's alone.
I don't trust him, Injuns. He's doing all right so far. With us paying him, you can use him to get the Redskins on the warpath.
Keep your guns handy, Turner. I trust no one.
Oh. You bring news, Tomahawk?
White man has eyes like the lynx. I bring news. I learned that Thundercloud is sent for help.
Sent for... What in blazes? You tarnation, Redskin. We told you to keep him under guard.
He is in his wigwam.
And he sent someone else. That's just as bad. You ought to have that scalp lock lifted.
Easy, Turner.
If he gets help, all our plans are gone.
Easy. Takes a lot to change our plans. A lot, understand? Besides, Tomahawk's our friend. We're all friendly.
Sorry.
Aren't we, Tomahawk?
Tomahawk does not like tongue of your companion.
He didn't mean it. He's upset. He'll apologize.
Apologize? After us giving him arms and money? After us giving him the idea of taking over the tribe?
He'll apologize, Tomahawk.
All right. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Now, Chief Tomahawk, let's see if we can help you in this problem. So old Thundercloud sent for help.
That is so.
He sent this brave you were telling me about. The one who refused to uphold you as chief.
Running Wolf.
I won't ask how it happened that Running Wolf managed to get to see Thundercloud when you had him so carefully guarded. That's over and done with. No use raking up a cold fire. How long ago did he leave for help?
I do not know.
I see. Well, tell me this, then. Where did he go for help? To whom?
That, too, I do not know.
That doggone redskin don't know nothing about nothing.
This makes things a little difficult, Chief. It's too bad you didn't take our advice at the beginning and get rid of Thundercloud.
He was chief before me. Braves still remember him as a good man.
Yes, of course. Well, as long as he remains your prisoner, I suppose that's the best we can expect. But you better post some of your warriors all around the village to watch for this help that's coming to Thundercloud. Whoever it is must be dealt with, Tomahawk. Dealt with at once, you understand?
I understand. I go to Braves and give the orders.
Yeah.
And have them shoot to kill.
Shoot to kill.
That redskin is eating right out of our hams, Turner.
Be careful he don't chaw them off. Doggone it, Torlock, how can you be so all-fired cool? We got a big stake in this engine uprising. We poured plenty of guns and cash into that engine's hands.
We have plenty more. Never worry about how we get money, Turner. We're a big organization. We've got money enough to buy up 1,000 Indians like him.
You couldn't talk old Thundercloud into working his engines up for a fight.
Thundercloud's a different breed of Indian. He's friendly with the settlers. It's a good thing he's old and his braves don't listen to him.
I hope nothing happens to make them listen again.
It won't.
It will if he gets help.
Nobody can get through Tomahawk's braves.
I don't like it. Why not take the easy way out? Have Thundercloud killed, finished off.
You heard what Tomahawk said?
Sure, I heard what he said. But I also saw his eyes when you mentioned it, Torlock. There's nothing he'd like better than to have Thundercloud out of the way.
It would make him secure.
Yeah. It could look like an accident, couldn't it? Then none of the braves would blame Tomahawk.
I know what you're thinking, Turner. We can get through that country line.
Yeah, we know what wigwam Thundercloud is in.
We'll crawl up to that wigwam and do the job ourselves, Turner. But I don't want you to use your guns.
Too much noise, huh? How will we finish him?
With a black arrow.
Indian village not far off now. We see campfire.
We'll stop here.
Stop the range, Kimosabe. Silver and Scout won't leave. Now follow me.
What is the matter, Master Brother? When I left, there no sentries out from village?
Things may have changed, Running Wolf. It's been 5 days.
Go slow. You hear sound?
Someone in the shrubbery ahead of us. Follow me and don't make a sound.
Yeah, who'd that come? Oh! Your fist moved faster than flight of arrow, masked one. You will not waken for some time.
Who is he?
He? Monadnock, one of braves who follows Tomahawk.
Him got bow, arrow, and knife with him.
Yes, Kimosabe, you were right. Tomahawk has posted warriors to watch. That means Tomahawk knows you were sent for help, Running Wolf. And if he knows that, how can we be sure that Chief Thundercloud is still alive?
Masked man, that gray antelope. Something's happened to Chief Thundercloud.
The curtain falls on the first act of our thrilling Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. continue our story. With Chief Thundercloud a prisoner of his own tribe, the Lone Ranger and Tonto raced to the rescue. As they got near the Indian village, they heard a woman scream. It was Gray Antelope, the granddaughter of old Chief Thundercloud.
Me not here anymore.
That scream came from the village, Tonto.
The wigwam of Thunderclouds.
Riding Wolf.
Yes?
You will stay here and guard this brave. Tonto and I will go ahead and see what we can find out.
I wait, nurse man.
We creep up to wigwam.
Yes, Tonto. It will be dark for quite a few hours more. We've got to learn what's been happening in Thundercloud's wigwam.
Look, just because that doggone squaw let out a yell, the whole village is buzzing. Reckon it's just as good we sneaked away without being spotted.
You missed Thundercloud, Turner. There won't be another chance.
Well, I couldn't help it. The woman saw us. Her yell threw off my aim.
Now we'll be forced to let Tomahawk handle this his own way.
Yeah, here he comes. Reckon he knows doggone well it was us that sent that set arrow.
Oh, Chief Tomahawk.
Braves do not like what happened.
They'll calm down. All they got left for Thundercloud is respect. How do you like it?
Would have liked it better had your arrow found Thundercloud's heart.
Now you're talking sense, Injun. So long as he's alive, you're in danger of losing your job as chief.
That is so. Now I see it clearly.
If you want more money and more power, Tomahawk, you'd better get rid of the old chief.
I will do that.
When?
Soon. It will take time to convince braves that Thundercloud is too old to live.
You're a smart Indian, Tomahawk. Before we're through, you'll be leading all the tribes in the West.
I shall lead them all. Thundercloud has not long to live.
But while Torlock talked to the Indian, the Lone Ranger and Tonto were on their way to Thundercloud, straining every nerve, keen eyes piercing the darkness ahead of them. Slowly but surely they made their way toward the Indian village. Like shadows drifting without sound, they moved past the ring of sentries, circled the darkness beyond the wigwams, so quietly that not even the village dogs knew of their presence. Until at last they came to the wigwam they were looking for.
Thundercloud's wigwam. Across this bit of open space. Wait here, Tonto.
Tonto, wait.
There.
Flattened against the wigwam, the masked man tapped softly on one of the ridge poles. Thundercloud heard the sound.
The back of the wigwam.
Who is it?
A friend.
The masked man. Lift the skins.
Chief Thundercloud, you're alive.
An arrow was shot at me, but missed. Where is Running Wolf?
He's waiting on the hill with Silver and Scout.
And Tonto?
In the brush, just in back of this wigwam.
The woods are alive with Tomahawk sentries.
We took care of one of them. Chief Thundercloud, we've come to get you away from here.
Yes, masked man. Do you have horses?
We can get them.
And listen, I am old. I cannot travel fast. But I must make a long trip to get what is needed to restore me to leadership of my tribe.
There's no time for that now, Chief Thundercloud. It'll be dawn soon. The first thing is to get you away from here.
I must return later.
We can discuss that after you're rescued. Stay here and be ready.
I shall be ready.
Gray Antelope.
Yes, masked man.
Leave this wigwam and go to the far side of the village.
What?
Go there and wait. You'll understand later.
I will go.
Good. Let's leave the rest to Tonto and me. I'm going now to make my plans with Tonto. But I'll be back.
Where, masked friend? Him not answer bird call.
Come on, Sully.
Oh, Tonto think maybe you captured.
Thundercloud is alive, Tonto. I talked with him.
That's good.
Tonto, we're going to rescue Thundercloud, but we'll have to get those guards away from the front of the wigwam.
That's not easy.
I have a plan.
Oh.
We'll go back to the horses. Running Wolf will ride with you on Scout. I'll take Silver and we'll separate.
Me not savvy.
All the horses are kept on the far side of the village, Tonto. If you ride in there suddenly and cut the horses loose, they'll stampede. In the excitement, you'll be able to take 2 extra horses with you.
2 horses?
One for Running Wolf and one for Thundercloud.
Tonto do that. And what you do?
The stampede will arouse the village. Every brave will rush in that direction. When I hear the noise, I'll gallop straight for Thundercloud's wigwam and swing him up behind me.
That's plenty dangerous.
The best chance we have is our only chance. Now, come on, we'll get Silver and Scout. Easy, Silver.
Oh, fella. Oh.
Running Wolf, did you tie up that sentry?
One odd knock is bound and gagged, Master.
All ready then. Get up behind Tonto. Go ahead, Kimosabe. Horse's hoofs are wrapped in cloth to deaden the sound. Follow this ridge until you're on the far side.
Running Wolf, him show way. This is village.
As soon as you stampede the horses, fire into the air to draw attention. I'll ride for the wigwam. We'll meet back here.
Adios, Kimosabe. Adios. Get him up, scout.
All right, Silver. We'll arouse the village. It's up to us to rescue Thundercloud. This way, old fella. Come on, Silver.
Look, there, Tonto.
The horses. You have to take cloth off Scout's hoofs. When we ride, we make more noise. Better for masked man that way.
They ride downhill with the horses.
All ready. We go slow part way. Then when Tonto yell, we go plenty fast. Shoot plenty hard. Yell loud. We'll make sure masked friend hear us.
Steady, Silver. Steady, boy. We've got to wait for Tonto and Running Wolf. Steady. There they go, Silver. They've stampeded the horses. Now, Silver.
The great white stallion galloped down the slope, straight for Thundercloud's wigwam. As he drew near, the masked man shouted,
Thundercloud! Chief Thundercloud!
Masked man, I am here.
Into the saddle. I'll ride behind you.
Raise the masked man. Stop him.
Masked brother, look out. There's Tomahawk.
You shot the bull right from his hand.
Up in the saddle. Hip. Come on, Silver. Faster, Silver. Faster.
You have done it. We are beyond the village.
We'll meet Tonto and Running Wolf on the ridge ahead. I'll Silver!
We are here. But where is White Brother?
Him come plenty soon.
Sky grows light. With dawn, Tomahawk will take up trail.
Go on, Silver!
The masked one.
Try, Kimosabe.
You got Thundercloud. That good.
We have horses and saddles.
Here, Chief Thundercloud. Let me help you from the saddle.
I am old for such a wild ride.
We have a few minutes for you to rest up. We had to travel fast to get away, but they won't be able to locate our trail yet. Sit down, Thundercloud.
Who is this?
When Odnock stood on guard, masked man hit him with his fist so he would make no outcry.
He was your brave, Thundercloud. What shall we do with him?
He is my brave no longer. He has made Tomahawk chief. But he has ears. He can listen.
Listen?
Yes, my son. All of you will listen. Masked man, I told you before that I must make a trip.
Yes, Tonto and I are ready to go with you.
That is good, for I shall need your help.
And where we go?
Listen well. And you too, Monadnock. I go to find the magic belt.
No, magic belt.
Yes, the magic belt which is a symbol of my power over my warriors.
Magic belt that glows in the dark.
Even so, Running Wolf. Masked man, with the belt, my braves will once more respect me as their chief. I shall once more gain control of my tribe. For the belt is mighty medicine, respected and revered by every red man.
Where is the magic belt now?
Years ago, when I thought there was no longer need for the belt, I gave it to a medicine man for safekeeping. But now there is need of the belt. Its magic power is needed to lead my people into peaceful ways once more. Masked man, my son, we must go to Finger Mountain. We must seek out Cadota, the medicine man. He is the keeper of the belt.
Tonto not know where Finger Mountain is.
It is many days' journey from here, Tonto. It is lonely. Only Cadota lives there.
Finger Mountain is a sacred mountain. It is forbidden.
You need not go with us, Running Wolf.
Oh, I will go, Thundercloud.
No, the masked man and Tonto will be enough. Better that you should stay near the village to watch what occurs. There might be danger for my granddaughter, Gray Antelope.
So be it. Thundercloud has spoken. I shall remain.
The sun is rising. It's time for us to travel.
I am rested, my son.
Use this horse, Thundercloud.
We are ready, Kimosabe.
You better leave now, Running Wolf. Circle east. We'll be going west.
I go now, and I pray my chief returns with the magic belt. Enoga.
Hi.
Ready, Thundercloud?
There is one thing more, my son.
We have little time.
I did not tell you about the arrow that was aimed at me. I meant to tell you, but there was not the chance. I brought the arrow with me. It is a peculiar arrow. Perhaps it means something to you.
Tonto, it's a black arrow.
Oh. I see it has some deeper meaning.
Yes, it tells us what's behind this attempt to stir up the Indians. It's better if we keep the secret.
Very well, Masked Man. Then we go towards Finger Mountain.
Lead the way, Thundercloud. You know the direction. Tonto and I will follow.
So be it.
Tonto. Now that we've seen the arrow, we've got even more reason for helping Thundercloud regain control of his tribe. This isn't just a small matter. It concerns the whole West.
That's right.
Tonto, that magic belt must be found.
We go on trail now.
We're riding with Chief Thundercloud. Come on, Silver.
Come on, Scout.
All right, Tomahawk. We got the whole story from Monadnock. Tell your braves to go back to the village.
One moment.
We haven't time.
You listen. You are going to follow trail of Thundercloud and Masked One?
Yes, we are.
Thundercloud must not get magic belt.
He won't.
Magic belt is big medicine. I have heard stories of it. Shines in the dark like the light of 1,000,000 stars. Shines brighter than the moon. The spell is great. Thundercloud gets magic belt. Every brave, every warrior will follow him. Thundercloud must not get the magic belt.
Well, we'll make sure he doesn't get it. Come on, Turner, hit the trail.
Get up there.
Grab your horse. Use the whip. We've got to beat the Masked Man to Finger Mountain.
The cloud of dust and a hearty hi-yo, Silver, the Lone Ranger. During the years of unrest that followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors. And for once, his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
More Silver! Run the tail of the Black Arrow! Hail Silver! Away!
As the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and Chief Thundercloud headed for Finger Mountain to find the magic belt and regain the leadership of the tribe for Thundercloud, they were unaware that the Black Arrow knew of their mission. The chief was old, and frequent stops were made to allow him to rest. But at last the broken ground of the Badlands gave way to the rolling, heavily wooded slopes of the foothills. It was on the third day of their journey. Just an hour before sunset, the masked man raised his arm in a signal to stop.
We make camp here, Kimasabi. Thundercloud is not tired. Ride more tonight.
I know you came, Chief. There's another trail joins this one just up ahead. I want Tonto to take a look at the tracks.
You do it. You think that others ride this way?
It's possible.
Many trails come this far. Soon we find only one that lead on to Finger Mountain.
Yes, then we can be sure if anyone's ahead of us.
Look. You look.
He's found something. All right, Silver.
Get up. Thundercloud has made you travel slow.
We've been making good time.
You and Tonto go faster alone.
You look here.
How many horses were there?
Maybe 7, 8.
Indians?
No. Tonto find this piece of cloth and branch. White men ride this way.
When were the tracks made?
It many hour.
I was afraid it might be.
Black Arrow?
Let's hope not, Kimosabe. We know they'll do anything in their power to keep Thundercloud from becoming the chief of the tribe again.
You have not told Thundercloud the meaning of the Black Arrow.
We're only following orders, Chief, just as Tomahawk was when he persuaded the other braves to rebel against you.
Thundercloud knows that white men gave him gold.
They want a war, and you're the only one who can stop it.
Not without the magic belt that glows in the dark.
Get mounted, Tonto. We're riding on.
Yes, Scout.
Ride all night. Man or two will give Thundercloud strength.
We can't leave you behind because Cadoda won't give the magic belt to Tonto or to me.
That is true.
Steady, Scout.
Ride all night.
Come on, Silver.
Yes, Scout.
Miles to the west, where only one trail threaded through the forest, Jim Blaine had built his log cabin in the middle of a clearing. He made a good living from his traps, and he and his wife had grown used to the loneliness of the great wilderness. But the sound of hoofbeats on the trail and the passing of a traveler was always a great event. It was just as they were finishing supper that Laura Blaine raised her head, a smile on her face.
Jim, I think somebody's coming.
Are you sure?
Listen for yourself.
Yep, horses coming this way.
Quick, the lantern's hanging by the door. Get it lit.
I will, honey.
And tonight we're going to stand right out on the trail so they can't miss the cabin. Wasn't that awful 2 weeks ago?
You mean when that cowboy went on past without stopping?
What else would I be talking about?
Of course, he might have been an outlaw. Maybe we were lucky.
He couldn't have stolen nothing but furs, and there's plenty more of them around. I'd give all we have to hear some news from outside.
Well, they're getting close.
This is fine right here.
How many do you suppose there are?
4, 5, or 6, maybe even more. I can see them. Where's the lantern?
Hello there.
Nobody enough. Howdy, strangers.
I'm Jim Blaine, and this is my wife.
Good evening.
And won't you come inside and let me fix you some food?
Maybe you'd like to stay tonight.
There's plenty of room in the storehouse.
Sounds good to me.
We'll stop for food, that's all.
We're ahead of the masked man and the chief. We gotta be. This is the only trail.
We'll stop for food, that's all.
You're the boss. All right, ma'am. Rustle the grub. Off your horses, men. The more the merrier. We sure like to have company.
You.
Yeah.
Up with your hands.
A gun.
Yeah. Well, Laura, I guess you got the outlaw you was asking for.
Tie him up, Turner.
What's the idea?
Do as I say. We may be ahead of the Lone Ranger, but we're going to use these two to delay him even more. Tie him up. The woman can wait until she's cooked our food. There's a light. It must be a cabin. That's right. There should be a light so late.
Maybe somebody sick?
Oh,
help?
Yes, Thundercloud.
Help!
Getting to be more certain than ever that they're ahead of us, Tonto.
Unmasked. Are you the Lone Ranger?
That's right. Got his rope, Tonto.
Tonto, do it.
What's happened?
There was 8 men, outlaws. They stopped here, and we tried to be friendly.
We? Who's we?
My wife and me. The leader pulled a gun. They tied me
What
up.
did the leader look like?
Oh, big and dark. Eyes like an eagle.
I see. Go on.
Well, they made Laura cook supper for them. Then they took her with them when they left.
They left you tied up but without a gag in your mouth. And they didn't put out that light on the table.
That was so you wouldn't miss the cabin.
What?
Sure. I know you're after him. They admitted it. This is all a scheme to delay you.
You said they took your wife. They must have known we'd try to catch them more than ever.
But they didn't take her far, Masked Man. Just out into the forest. They were going to tie her up and leave her.
Oh, that's plenty bad.
You don't have to tell me. There's mountain lions and panthers and wildcats. I don't want to stop you. I want to see them crooks get what's coming to them. But maybe I won't be able to find her alone. Maybe even now.
I can find their trail.
You'll help me?
There's no time to be lost.
Deep in the forest, Laura Blaine struggled against the ropes that bound her to the tree. But at last her strength gave out and her head drooped. The blackness and silence of the night closed in around her. Hope was gone.
They'll never find me. Never. The coyote. I never thought I'd be glad to hear one of them, but I am. It's the others. Ones that creep closer and closer all the time and don't make any noise at all. I've got to stop thinking about it. It happens, I won't have time to... Time... Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as in heaven.
Slowly, as she prayed, she lifted her head a little more with each word. A new strength flowed through her body. The fear was driven from her eyes.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Then silence once again, but faintly, in the distance, almost hidden by the trees, and yet moving closer, closer.
A light. A torch. It's Jim. I can see him. And that masked man beside him must be the Lone Ranger. Jim, I'm here. Oh, Jim, hurry, please.
Suddenly, she stopped short. The light from the torch had found a reflection in the tree above her head. 2 great yellow eyes burned from the darkness. A wildcat.
Look out!
It's all right, honey. The masked man got him just as he was going to spring.
Oh, that's all.
Sure. I'll get rid of these ropes in a minute.
And then go on that way. We know where they're heading, Tonto. We won't have to follow the trail anymore.
You get after him, Masked Man. We're all right now.
Would you rather go back to the cabin and rest, Chief?
No. We ride on.
Ready, Tonto?
Be ready.
Then adios.
Get him up, Tonto.
The Lone Ranger, Jim. The Lone Ranger.
How about it, boss? Are you sure that was Clearwater Canyon we just come through?
I'm perfectly sure.
Well, aren't you making a mistake now?
Don't ask so many questions.
Look, we're up above the canyon, sure. But we're heading east. I saw that big rock when we came through the opening.
That's Sentinel Rock, Turner.
Not the one we're looking for.
Yeah. What's more, I can see a teepee down the hollow ahead.
Cadota?
It must be. All right, man, let's go.
Get up there.
Come on. Get up. Your name, Cadota? I come from Chief Thundercloud.
Cadota, happy. Welcome, friend, the great warrior.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Thundercloud isn't the warrior he used to be.
But all men grow old.
He's having a lot of trouble with his young braves.
That's bad.
It's worse than that. If we can't do something for him, there's going to be an election of a new chief. Can't you guess why he sent me here?
Cadota, not know that.
He wants the belt. The magic belt that glows in the dark.
Magic belt?
Yeah, a magic belt. Once he has that, there isn't an Indian in the West who won't obey him. You know where it is, don't you? Then tell me. We want to get back to Thundercloud's village just as fast as we can.
Cadota cannot tell. When Thundercloud gave him magic belt many years ago, he made Cadota swear by Manitou.
I understand. You were to take care of it, hide it away.
Never give belt anyone but Thundercloud.
I told you that he sent us here.
Cadota swear.
This is a matter of life and death. They might even kill him.
No. Thundercloud must come himself get magic belt.
He can't. It's a long way here. He's too old.
No.
You see this, Cadota?
That gun.
If you don't change your mind, I'm going to pull the trigger.
Then secret magic belt die with Cadota.
Just let me work on him for a few minutes, boss, and he'll be
quiet. You can leave this matter to me.
What?
What's the matter?
Just look at the back trail.
What about it?
Maybe nothing. I'm not sure, but I think you better take your glass and look for yourself. Over here at the edge of the cliff.
Keep an eye on that Indian.
Sure.
And your hands off.
Down below.
I don't see anything.
Not the opening of the canyon. Out farther. Way out the mesa.
Wild horses.
There's some that ain't so wild, or I miss my guess. On the trail, boys.
Hey, you're right, Braden.
Is it them?
Must be. They still have a long way to come before they reach the canyon. Then they'll have to go all the way through it to find the trail that leads up here. They'll be passing directly below us.
Got an idea?
This rock. A charge of blasting powder.
We got some.
A charge of blasting powder would send it crashing down to the bottom.
You could seal the opening.
Just as they're passing through. This answers all our problems, Braden. We'll get the magic belt and we'll get rid of the Lone Ranger.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Now to continue our story. Far out on the mesa, the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and Thundercloud had reined up. The chief pointed to the rock high above the opening of the canyon.
There is the rock they call the Sentinel. Close by is the tepi-tepi of Cadota. Our trail leads through the canyon.
Do we have to go all the way through the canyon?
That is the only way to reach the top of the cliff.
The rock, Thundercloud. From here it seems to be balanced on a pinpoint.
We are many miles away. The rock stands firm. As long as Thundercloud can remember, it has stood so.
Better we go on. Men there already, maybe.
Cadota will not tell them where the magic belt is. He is sworn by Manitou.
But his life may be in danger.
That is true.
Come on, Silver.
Let's count. Don't show yourself on the edge of the cliff. Keep behind the rock.
We gotta pack the charge down on the canyon side.
Yeah, be careful. Don't stand up and they won't be able to see you.
It's almost set.
You understand what we're doing, Cadota? You ever seen blasting powder work? We're going to send that rock to the bottom of the canyon.
That closed opening.
Yeah. But we're going to wait until those travelers out in the mesa are right underneath.
You kill them.
Well, that's up to you.
What you mean?
You can save their lives by telling us where the magic belt is.
Cadota never do that.
But you don't know who they are. I want you to look through this spyglass. You'll be able to see their faces.
Too far.
This is white man's magic. And take the glass and look. That's it. Now, what do you see?
2 Indians. 1 white man with a mask.
Look at the older Indian, Cadota. Don't you recognize him? Look at his clothes, the chain he wears around his neck.
That's Thundercloud.
Yeah.
You come, Cadota. Say you friend Thundercloud. Now you try kill him.
Nothing will stop us from setting off that charge if you don't tell us where the belt is.
I swear by Manitou.
What's more important, Thundercloud's life or his belt?
Thundercloud want to die before Cadota break off.
Would he want the Lone Ranger to die?
What you mean?
That's who the masked man is, the Lone Ranger. The best friend the Indians have got in the West. Look again, Cadota. Make sure. That white horse he's riding, Silver. That's Tonto on the paint. You're getting close now. Almost underneath the cliff. You can see them plainly, can't you?
Lone Ranger.
You're the only one who can save him. You haven't much time.
All set, boss.
You hear that? All we have to do is light the fuse.
Just a few minutes and it'll be right underneath.
Hurry up, Cadota. Make up your mind.
You promise not hurt him.
I promise. Now hurry up.
By Manitou, you promise.
By Manitou.
Cadota, tell.
You've got to get it out before they reach the opening. And swear by Manitou that you'll tell the truth.
Cadota, swear.
Out with it.
Trail lead west to Finger Mountain.
That big peak we can see in the distance?
You climb any ridge. Come to Black Gorge.
Black Gorge. Is there any way to get across that?
No. Trail go down the bottom. Up other side.
Then what?
Finger Mountain beyond. You climb high. Find lone pine. Waterfall there. Breaking rock behind waterfall.
Go on.
That's where Magic Belt is.
Good work, boss.
That's all we came for, Cadota.
You're getting into the opening.
Good. And let them have it, sir.
You promise. You break promise. Curse of Manitou fall on you.
Sure, just the way it's going to fall on you. Stand aside, boys. I'll light the fuse myself.
The trail's rough here. We'll have to go slow.
There are men on top of cliff.
I saw them, Tonto.
Them not shoot.
1,000 feet up there. They wouldn't have much chance of hitting us. They might have set a guard on the trail ahead. We'll have to... Tonto, that was a blast.
The rock. The rock fall.
Quick, Thundercloud. Right through the hang of the cliff. It's our only chance. Now, come on, Silver. Faster, boy. Faster.
I gotta hand it to you, boys. Slick work. Not a sign of them down there. Buried under a mountain of rock and gravel.
We won't waste any more time here. Get mounted, men.
Why not take it easy for a while?
Plenty of work to be done as soon as we get the magic belt. Now, hurry up.
What about the engine?
We're taking him with us. He can ride with you.
Hear that, Cadota? Climb aboard.
Never. Follow me. Come on.
Torlock and his men rode on toward Finger Mountain, confident the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and Thundercloud had been killed by the falling rock and the avalanche that followed in its wake. But far below on the floor of the canyon, the overhang of the cliff had given them protection, and only Chief Thundercloud had been hurt.
It was a bad cut, Tonto. Now that we have it bandaged, I think he'll be all right.
Him not open eye yet.
Look, he's stirring.
Tonto, look at Chief's horse. Maybe him lame.
No, Tonto. The horse wasn't even touched. There. We'll have to wait until his head clears. They should be able to ride again.
Thundercloud hears you.
You'll be all right, Thundercloud.
You get horses. Bring them here. We ride soon. What?
What's the matter?
My horse is carrying double. He can't keep up this pace. And Lou and Eddie's. They're having a tough time of it, too.
Rein up. Slow down.
Can we rest for a little while?
No. There's no need for all of us to go after the belt. See that grove of trees over there?
Yeah.
It's close to the trail. It leads up from the canyon.
Sure of that?
Of course I'm sure. You and Eddie and Lou and Mike can make camp there. Hold the Indian a prisoner till we get back.
Suits me.
All right, the rest of you, come on. Get up there. Come on, get up.
Sort of wish we'd made our camp out in the open. These trees are too thick. Maybe it's just that engine singing that's getting on my nerves. I'll make them shut up.
Go ahead.
You! Cut that out! Did you hear me? I say cut it out! That's just a sample. Get a lot worse if you don't follow orders pronto.
Curse of Manitou fall on you.
What's that?
Wait, you see.
We aren't afraid of Manitou now that we got rid of the Lone Ranger and Thundercloud.
Cadota, see him now.
What are you talking about? Where?
Spirit Lone Ranger. Thundercloud, come back. Them make you pay for oath you break.
Spirits, huh? Just as long as their bullets aren't made of lead, I guess we can put up with them. You hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
That thundercloud.
You're loco.
Him close now.
Listen, that's enough of that talk, see? You're going to keep your face shut, or I'm going to fix it so you can't talk.
Yeah, that's what I say.
You heard him?
Sure, all of us did. We don't like it. Why don't we get rid of him?
We got orders to hold him prisoner.
Why should we?
If we let him loose, he'll tell the Indians we're after the belt.
Nothing can stop Torlock now.
He'll get it all right, but we've got to get back to the plains with it. There's no sense in fighting out of an Indian ambush if we don't have to.
There's other ways to keep this hombre from talking.
Oh.
You don't want to put a bullet through him? I'll take the job.
Maybe the boss wants to use him for something else.
We're fed up with that talk about spirits. It'll be bad enough to sit around here for 2 or 3 days without listening to the curse of Manitou and that loco chant. I say, shoot him. Get it over with. Get out. The boys are with me.
What do we say to Torlock?
Why, it's easy. He tried to get away, and we had to shoot him.
Listen, he said that was Thundercloud.
Yeah. We'll all be as loco as he is if we don't get rid of him.
If I could only be sure. There's something wrong here.
Thundercloud's close now. Put a bullet through that engine. If you don't, I will.
He's a medicine man, you know. Maybe there is something in those spells they work.
He's at it again. I'm not waiting any longer.
I'll do it. Just stand aside.
Go on. Shut him up for good.
Curse of Manitou is on you. Spirit Thundercloud near. From land of dead. Spirit Lone Ranger come.
Shut up.
Use your gun. I am right now.
Oh, my hand. Somebody shot the gun out of my hand.
What the?
Look, by the tree, the Lone Ranger.
There's Thundercloud and Tonto.
It can't be. We saw him get killed.
Up with your hands, all of you.
It is. He's come back.
Hurry up.
He's coming toward us.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Doda. We're not spirits and we mean business. Quick, Tonto, get their guns.
Tonto, do it.
Then tie them up.
You couldn't have gotten out of that alive.
We won't argue about it. Where's Torlock, Doda?
Him go after magic belt.
Thundercloud, cut your rope.
Did you tell him where it was?
Cadota do that. Try save your life. Then Torlock break promise.
You tell our masked brother now.
Ride for Finger Mountain. Cross Black Gorge. Find waterfall near Lone Pine. Magic belt and rock behind waterfall.
Finger Mountain. The waterfall near the Lone Pine. That shouldn't be hard to find. How long ago did Torlock leave?
Maybe 3-4 hours. Them have big start on you.
Look out, turn it that way. Go for guns.
Down on the ground.
I'll show you.
Oh, my hand.
I wouldn't try it again, Turner. Leave your gun where it is.
All right. You got me. The Torlock and the others are climbing straight up from here. They'll hear those shots and they'll be waiting for you.
Let's have a look at your wrist. Just as I thought. The Black Arrow.
You'll never beat us.
Thundercloud. I want you to stay here with Cadota and guard these men. It won't be a sheriff or a judge that sees to their punishment. The Great White Father himself.
That's good.
The Black Gorge. That's where they'll get you. It'll be Torlock that comes back, not you. He'll set us free. And we'll use that belt to rouse the Indians.
Plenty big magic in belt.
There's bigger magic in the Black Arrow. Just try to beat us. You can't win.
Hunter bring Silver Scout.
You watch out. Plenty danger, masked man.
We'll try to get to the waterfall before Torlock, Thundercloud. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. During the years of unrest that followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors. And for once, his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
On Silver, from the tail of the Black Arrow. On Silver! Away!
The Lone Ranger and Tonto had located the medicine man of Finger Mountain and saved him from a gang of outlaws, only to learn that he'd already been forced to reveal the hiding place of Chief Thundercloud's magic belt, the belt that glows in the dark, and that a group of outlaws are already halfway up Finger Mountain to get the belt.
This is going to be all fair and easy, Turlock. We get to the top of this mountain, get the magic belt ourselves.
We heard shooting below us, Braden. I don't like it.
Maybe that medicine man could do it. Tried to run out on the boys. Maybe they filled them full of lead.
No, it sounded like more than that.
Yeah, couldn't be the masked man.
I'm not so sure of that.
The Lone Ranger was killed in that landslide we sent down.
And perhaps. Maybe he escaped it.
Even so. Didn't we take the medicine man away from his camp? Didn't we cover our tracks so nobody could figure out where we took him?
We tried to conceal the trail, Braden.
Tried to. Thunderation Turlock, we made positive.
That Indian Tonto is the best man at following a trail in the West.
A cold trail?
Any trail. Yes, that's what it must have been. The Ranger and the Indian are alive. They followed that trail and rescued Cadota.
Yeah. What are we going to do, Turlock?
You and the men will go ahead after the magic belt. You should reach the spot where it's hidden by dark.
I reckon we should.
I'll be down on the prairie below the mountain, several miles off to the east. If you find the belt, you'll light one fire as a signal.
Yeah?
The belt's gone, light two fires. Keep them at least a quarter of a mile apart, so I can see there are two even from a distance.
You're the boss.
That's all. You've got it straight?
Yep. One if we locate the magic belt, two if we don't. What then?
If you signal me you've found it, I'll light a fire myself. Come to that fire. If you don't find it, don't try to find me.
What? Don't try it?
No, you've already been paid. I said don't try.
Well, all right, if that's the way you want it.
Exactly the way I want it.
Suppose you tell me one thing before you go, Turlock.
Yeah?
What's all this about? Just what's your stake in this magic belt?
You were hired and no questions asked, Braden.
Where'd you get all that cash you handed in?
Never mind. The less you ask, the better off you'll be. I'm leaving you and your men. Remember the signal. Get up there. Come on, get up.
Sure acts mighty uppity. Did you hear that, gents? Turlock figures maybe the Lone Ranger's going to beat us to that magic belt. There's only one way to get there, and we're taking it. We find the gorge and then go north till it narrows enough to get across. Then up the waterfall beside the lone pine. You couldn't get there without running into us. You'd have to fly. Come on, gents. The magic belt's as good as ours right now.
All right.
Get up there.
Careful, Tonto. This trail is steep.
Silver Scout not lose footing.
We're not far behind them, Kimosabe. The tracks get fresher by the minute.
They got plenty guns. It's not easy to go past them.
Perhaps we won't have to.
Huh?
There may be a shortcut.
No shortcut. Medicine Man Cadota say only one way to Belt.
We'll see.
We go around cliff now. Soon come to place where trail turn north along gorge.
Yes, we... Stop.
Scout. Fella.
Here we are now, Tonto. The gorge. Up to the edge, Silver.
It's plenty deep. It goes straight down to 3,000 feet.
Yes, Kimosabe. Deep, but not so wide. And look there. Only 100 yards from the other side of the gorge is the top of Finger Mountain. There's the lone pine in the spring gushing out of the rock beside it like a small waterfall.
That spot where Medicine Man hide magic belt.
Yes.
It's so near. But only way we get there is go long way round.
We'll see. Here's a cleared space. Enough to give Silver a running start.
Kimosabe, what you do?
I think Silver can make it, Tonto. Can't you, old boy?
Wait. You not try to jump across Black Gorge?
We've got to get that belt, Tonto.
No. It's too much.
Silver can do it.
But you miss edge. You fall far down. We hit rock below. No, you can't.
Tonto. It's our one chance.
No.
If we follow the outlaws, we'll never pass them. The trail is narrow. There are too many of them. We must get that belt for Thundercloud.
You, my friend. Tonto not let you die.
Without that belt, Thundercloud can't stop the Indians from going on the warpath. Thousands will die. We can't let that happen.
But you can't. You let Tonto try, huh?
It's too great a jump for Scout, old friend. Even Silver will have to make the best jump he's ever made.
You not change mind?
Better tighten the cinch first.
Me sabi. You not change mind.
There.
If you not make jump, Tonto be all alone.
Don't talk that way, Tonto.
Tonto, pray for you.
Kimosabe. All right, Silver. Back as far as we can go, boy. We've got to get a good start. Come on, boy.
You ready?
All ready.
Tonto stand at edge to show place to jump from. You jump here.
Good. Now, Silver.
Jump, Silver! Try! You make jump!
Silver did it. Good boy. It'll be easier getting back, Tonto. That edge of the gorge is lower than this one.
That's right. Now you get belt, huh?
Yes, Tonto. I won't be long. Up, Silver!
While Tonto watched from the far side of Black Gorge, the masked man raced up the last bare slope to the single wind-swept pine that crowned the summit.
Here we are, old boy. Steady. Got to hurry. It'll be dark soon.
With long strides, he went to the waterfall springing out of the rock. Without hesitation, he thrust his arm through the cold water.
Somewhere back here, there should be a little hollow concealed by the waterfall.
It's here. Cadota was right. His groping hand touched the heavy belt, secure in its hiding place. He drew it forth. Even with beads of water clinging to it, the stones in the ancient belt glowed and sparkled with a magic shine.
Tonto! I've got Chief Thundercloud's magic belt. Here it is. Here, Silver. Steady, boy. It's all over now with the shouting. We just take the belt to Thundercloud.
Let me look out!
At that moment, Tonto shouted a warning. The masked man turned his head toward the north. Charging down upon him were Braden and the other outlaws. They'd taken a long way around, and the Lone Ranger had beaten them to their quarry.
Masked man! He's got the belt! He beat us to it!
You got here first, masked man. We can't get away. Cut him off.
Before Silver could move, the outlaws swung along the edge of the gorge between the masked man and Tonto.
Shoot him. Pour that into him.
We can't lose the belt now, Silver. It's up to you, old boy. Straight at them. Come on, Silver.
Like a flash of silver lightning, the great stallion thundered straight at the outlaws lining the edge of the gorge.
Here he comes. Aim for the horse. Don't let him get by.
His knees gripping Silver's side, the masked man rode with the belt looped over one arm. The reins tangled free as his two guns pumped shot after shot at the cringing outlaws. Before the bad man could realize what was happening, Silver flashed between them.
Silver, jump!
The great horse arched through the air like a flying arrow and landed safely on the other side right next to Tonto.
They not shoot anymore. We won't give them the chance, Tonto. We're clear and we've got the belt. Follow me, down the trail. Keep Thundercloud and Cadota. Wait at bottom of trail. We'll be there by nightfall. Get him up, Scout. Hold Silver! Steady, Silver. Chief Thundercloud. Here's the magic belt.
Yes, my son. As you came, I could see the belt glowing in the dark. For a brief moment, I feared it might be the others who reached the belt first.
No. Masked friend, him jump Silver. Cross Black Gorge. Get belt first.
You have done the Indian nations a great service. With this magic belt, I return to my people, and they shall obey me, not Tomahawk.
Where's the medicine man?
He waits beyond, in the camp.
And the outlaw prisoners?
They are prisoners still, roped and bound as you left them.
Good. Tonto and I'll take them with us.
We take them to jailhouse.
The nearest town isn't far off, Chief Thundercloud.
That is good. Meanwhile,
you can ride ahead and make straight for your tribe. We go in a different direction.
So be it.
You can cover your trail?
I am old, but I am wise in the ways of the trail. It shall be concealed.
While you head straight for your warriors, Tonto and I'll leave a broad trail behind us. If the other outlaws, the ones who are still up on Finger Mountain, should decide to follow, they'll come after us instead of you. That way, you're sure to reach your warriors safely.
Kemosabe, what medicine man Cadota do?
Cadota can ride with Chief Thundercloud with us, Tonto.
Masked friend.
Yes, Chief Thundercloud.
Cadota has his home on Finger Mountain. He has decided to stay. The outlaws will trouble him no more.
Very well. Then it's all decided.
I have my horse. I will leave you here, my friends. For what you have done, the wigwams of my people shall be your wigwams. The campfire of my people shall be your campfire. Our food, your food. May the Great Spirit be with you.
As the old chief rode off, he turned once more toward the masked man and Tonto. In the darkness, the magic belt glowed and sparkled with a secret light, shining like the stars in the sky above them.
Look, Kemosabe, the belt that glows in the dark. It he big medicine.
Yes, Tonto. There's no other belt like it in the world.
An hour later, the masked man and Tonto had taken their prisoners from the medicine man and were on the trail, heading for Salt Lick to deliver the bad men to the sheriff. As they herded the prisoners in front of them, Tonto glanced back at Finger Mountain and spoke sharply.
Kemosabe, look back, the mountaintop.
What is it? Two fires set apart on the mountain. Tonto, are those signal fires?
You think maybe it's Black Arrow signal?
I don't know, Kemosabe. We can't do anything about it now, not till we put these men in jail. Whatever those fires mean, I have a feeling there's going to be more trouble.
And the Lone Ranger was right. For on the dark prairie, far to the east, Torlock, member of the Black Arrow, stared up at the two blazing fires in the distance and made his plans.
Two fires. Signal that the Lone Ranger got the magic belt. There's more ways than one of getting the Indians to take the warpath. They've never seen the real belt. Maybe they can be fooled. I'll have to move fast. But I've got a plan. A plan that's got to work.
The curtain falls on the first act of our thrilling Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. now to continue our story. The Lone Ranger got Chief Thundercloud's magic belt and started for Salt Lick to hand his prisoners over to justice. Meanwhile, Chief Thundercloud rode toward his tribe, once again to take his rightful place as their leader. But Thundercloud was old, and he could not travel fast. Torlock, a member of the Black Arrow, reached the Indian village first.
Who comes? Oh, where's Tomahawk? I bring him to
I'm
you.
here. Hello, Torlock.
Get rid of this warrior, Tomahawk.
That is all.
Well, you bring news?
There's trouble, Tomahawk.
Chief Tomahawk.
You won't be a chief at all unless you move fast. Thundercloud's coming back. He's got the belt.
What you say?
You heard me.
But if he return with the magic belt that glows in the
What
dark...
if, Tomahawk, he will return? The only person I'm here is... Well, I'm here because I'm younger and riding a faster horse.
Masked man is with him?
I didn't stop to find out. If you want to be a great chief, you can't do it by staying here.
No.
You still want to be a great chief, don't you?
Why waste words with idle talk?
Good. That's fine. And don't ask questions. Just listen.
I listen.
We're leaving the tribe right now. You and I are heading for the Badlands beyond Fort Lariat. There's a meeting of chiefs from a dozen tribes. They've brought their men.
So?
I'm doing my best to get them to attack the fort. Once that fort is attacked, war will break loose in the whole frontier. I had planned to get that magic belt to persuade them to attack.
Magic belt is no use unless Thundercloud wears it.
Fort Lariat is pretty far from here, Tomahawk. Those braves don't know what's happened here.
What you mean?
Maybe you could wear the belt. In the dark, they'd think you were Thundercloud.
This talk foolish. It cannot be done.
No?
Even if I go with you, we have not got the magic belt.
Maybe not, Tomahawk. But don't worry about that.
Huh?
Just leave it to me. There's more than one way to make those Indians see a belt that glows in the dark. Come on, we're riding for the Badlands.
All right, get on in there. You three hombres stay in that there cell till the circuit judge rides this way to put you on trial. And I hope you like our cooking. Well, Tonto, they're behind bars.
Not plenty good.
Doggone lucky for you and the masked man that I happen to be sheriff of Salt Lake. You'd have had to do some explaining if I'd been a stranger.
That's right.
Where's the masked man now?
Right here, Sheriff.
Oh, standing by the back door, were you?
I sent Tonto on ahead. Even in the darkness, my mask might have been seen by the people in the town.
And that's why you come around the back of the jailhouse after Tonto brung them desert rattlers in the front way?
That's it. You'll hold them?
Sure will. They'll get a long stretch.
And we'll be going.
Say.
Yes?
One of them gents, the one named Turner, put up a bit of a scrap.
He didn't get away?
Oh, no. Only while I was subduing him, I noticed he had a funny tattoo mark on his left wrist. Black arrow. Does that mean anything?
Not to you, Sheriff.
Huh?
You're our friend.
And always will be.
And will you believe me when I tell you that this mark of the Black Arrow is a government matter?
Federal government.
And the less you have to do with it, the less you even talk about it, the better for all concerned.
Keno, masked man, I'm curious, but whatever you say.
Thanks, Sheriff.
And I sure hope that you settle all this engine trouble I've been hearing about. This here magic belt of Chief Thunderclouds must be heap big medicine.
It is.
Now everything all better.
Yeah. There's been so many signs of engine trouble I've been worrying about holding on to my scalp. The Indians are usually peaceable. I wonder who's been stirring them up. I savvy. That's another thing that isn't my affair.
There's no need to worry any longer, Sheriff. With Thundercloud and the magic belt, the Indians will soon calm down and behave.
Masabi.
What's that?
There's somebody riding this way in a desperate hurry.
Out in back of the jailhouse.
How? Where's Sheriff?
Here I am.
Where's Masked Man?
Well, I'll be doggone, a woman, and an Indian woman at that.
Grey Antelope, what are you doing here?
Masked Man, I ride from Indian Village.
Oh, what's the matter? Chief Thundercloud?
Chief Thundercloud was not there when I rode away.
Wait, now easy, Grey Antelope. What is it? What's wrong? There must be trouble.
They meet in the forest near the village. I heard them from a nearby hiding place.
Who?
Tomahawk and one who called himself Torlock.
Oh. Torlock? Go on.
I don't know how they plan to do it, but they go to the Badlands near Fort Lariat. Many Indian chiefs are there. They plan something bad. You must go, Masked Man. You must go at once.
Tonto, got the horses.
Me too.
Sheriff.
Yeah, masked man?
Hold these prisoners.
I sure will.
See that Gray Antelope gets a fresh horse so she can make good time getting back to her tribes.
Good as done.
Gray Antelope, Tonto and I ride ahead for the Badlands. When you get to Chief Thundercloud, tell him to be ready for trouble.
He will be there?
By the time you get back, he should be.
We go now.
Yes, Kimosabe. Steady, boy.
Adios to you. Good luck and fast ride.
We'll need both. Come on, Silver.
Come on, Scout. Come, Silver!
The Lone Ranger and Tonto galloped day and night, their gallant steeds eating up the miles at a steady pace. Across the rolling prairie and the dry desert into the Badlands of the Dakotas, where the ground split into great fissures and tumbled rock, and a wrong step meant disaster. On and on they raced, the paint horse galloping beside the great white stallion, under blazing sun and the pale light of the moon, until finally they reached the edge of the Badlands near Fort Lariat and looked down from a ridge.
Steady, Silver. Look there.
Oh, gee, plenty Indians.
More than 1,000 of them, and all braves. That means a war party for sure.
They not wear war paint yet.
They won't use war paint until they decide to fight. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. What tribes are those, Kimosabe?
Me see Eagle Feather of Sioux tribe. Me see War Bonnet of Arapaho. That wigwam have sign of Blackfoot. There Assiniboine, Dakota, Crow, Apache.
1,000 braves encamped within 5 miles of Fort Lariat, armed with bows and arrows, spears and rifles, run in by outlaw smugglers. 1,000 savages deciding whether to attack the fort and start warfare throughout the West, or whether to smoke the pipe of peace and go back to their tribes. In the center of the camp, the chieftains of the tribe sat at the council fire. As the drum stopped, Tomahawk, the renegade Indian, stepped forward.
I bring word from my chief. Attack and capture the fort.
If we attack, we capture fort. But we also start bloody war. Long war.
We will drive the settlers from the land.
You talk well, old Tomahawk. Before we don war paint, tell us, for whom do you speak? Who is your great chief?
My chief is Thundercloud. He shall lead you.
Thundercloud is great chief. But why should he command us? And why is he not here now?
At the right time, Thundercloud will arrive. And with him, as proof that he alone should lead you, you will have the magic belt that glows in the dark.
The magic belt?
Yes. Chief Thundercloud has brought the belt forth from its secret hiding place. It is a symbol of his power. The proof that he is the one to lead us to victory.
That is idle talk. The belt has not been seen for many years. Many years. None knows what Great Spirit has done with belt.
Would you follow it?
Yes. Yes, the magic belt is mighty medicine. We would follow the one who wears the belt.
So be it, then. I go. But make your war paint ready. Sharpen your spears and your arrows. For when Thundercloud arrives, he shall have the magic belt that glows in the dark.
Well, Tomahawk?
It is done, Torlock.
You spoke to the chiefs?
Even now they are having the council fire. I have spoken to them. I told them Thundercloud will bring the magic belt. They will follow.
They agreed, eh?
It is agreed.
Good.
You have money for me?
Here. 2 pouches full of gold. You'll get more gold later.
I have said what you told me to say, Torlock. But my words were empty words because you do not have the belt. Without the magic belt, the braves will not follow.
Tomahawk, you make it a point to ride out here to this spot every night from now on. Just leave it to me. One of these nights I'll meet you and hand you a belt that will be good enough to fool any of those Indians. Understand, any of them.
I will be here each night.
Here.
Adios. I'll set everything ready. I better ride myself. Channing and Matthews will be waiting for me. Steady, horse. Get up there. Come on.
Did you hear? Channing and Matthews. Whoever they are, Torlock is meeting with them. We're going to hear that meeting, Tonto. There they are, Tonto. Off your horse and get up close to them.
what they do. It's plenty dark, but Tonto sees something shine in night.
They're working on something, Tonto. Closer.
That's right, Matthew. We got enough of this stuff gathered now. I got some leather we can use. I want these strips of wood fastened to the leather. Fasten them tight so they won't fall off. Tomahawk will wear this as a belt. In the dark, those braves will think he's Thundercloud.
Tonto, come away. Follow me. Back to the horses. Hurry.
What you mean? He not savvy.
Wait till he gets farther away from them.
Here, Scout.
Ready, Silver. Tonto. Now I can tell you. You saw what they were doing?
They have something shine in dark.
They had little bits of foxfire, Tonto. You know, bits of decayed wood that glow in the darkness. They were fastening the foxfire to a strip of leather. In the dark, when Tomahawk puts it on, they'll think it's a magic belt.
Oh, but it's different. Foxfire shine only little bit. Magic belt of Chief Thundercloud shine bright, strong, like great shining star. Tonto never see anything like magic belt any place else.
Yes, Kimosabe, we've seen the magic belt. This imitation wouldn't fool us for a minute, but it might fool the braves. The Indians have never seen the magic belt, Tonto. Until they do, they won't know the difference.
Difference easy to see.
There's no comparison. Alongside the magic belt, that foxfire would pale into nothing. All those Indians need is one look at the magic belt.
But magic belt not here. That mean Indian attack fort plenty soon.
Once they get started, it will be too late to stop them. War will spread throughout the whole West. Tonto, we've got to ride as never before. We've got to get Thundercloud and his magic belt and bring them here at once.
Get him up, Scout.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. of unrest that followed the Civil War, a powerful secret organization called the Legion of the Black Arrow sprang up in the western United States. Its members were to be found everywhere, defying the law or using the law for their own purposes, working toward the ultimate goal of revolt and the foundation of a despotic empire. It was the masked rider of the plains who led the fight against this band of outlaws and traitors. And for once, his great strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness were taxed to the utmost in the cause of democracy. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides against
the Black Arrow! Hail Silver!
With the help of an imitation of Chief Thundercloud's magic belt and a renegade Indian called Tomahawk, the Black Arrow planned to arouse the Indians against the white settlers and capture Fort Lariat. The Lone Ranger and Tonto learned of their plans and realized that only Chief Thundercloud and the real belt could prevent an uprising that might spread through the whole of the West. They raced across the Badlands in the direction of Thundercloud's village. But suddenly, as the moon broke through the clouds, the masked man reined up.
What matter, Kimosabe?
Look, our men at the side of the trail, near that big rock.
Oh, that's right.
Advance to be recognized.
Soldiers. They won't understand my mask.
Maybe them take you prisoners.
We can't let them stop us. Cut away from the trail. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
We're trying to get away. Who's in there?
Steady, Silver. No use, Tonto. We're surrounded.
And them here's come wait for us.
That's better. I'm glad you got sense enough not to go for your guns. Get 'em, boys.
Sergeant.
A masked man and an Indian.
We aren't outlaws.
It ain't exactly outlaws we're looking for. It's renegades.
You make plenty big mistake.
You've got to believe us, Sergeant. We're doing everything in our power to stop the uprising.
So there's going to be an uprising, eh?
There will be if we don't bring Chief Thundercloud back here in time.
Oh, you're going after Thundercloud?
Yes.
That's all I need.
What do you mean?
We got some Indians working for us in that encampment. They brought word to the fort tonight that Thundercloud was being sent for. And when he gets here, the Indians will attack.
But you don't understand. It was Tomahawk who
How do you
promised
know that if you ain't in with them?
Tonto and I got close enough to overhear their council.
I'll bet you did. I'll bet you had a front seat.
Did your scouts say there were any white men in the council?
Well, they said there were some white men hanging around.
You're right, and they're renegades, too. But I'm not one of them.
You can tell that to the colonel. Keep a close watch on them, men. Now get moving. Troopers, forward, Here's the colonel's quarters. Dismount, masked man. The Indian can wait outside.
Who's there?
Sergeant Donnelly reporting, sir.
Come in.
Go on.
Well, Sergeant?
We picked up this hombre in the Badlands, not far from the Indian encampment, sir.
I see.
There was an Indian with him. He's outside. They said they were on their way to Thundercloud's village.
Admitted it?
Yes, sir.
Why haven't you taken off his mask?
I thought you'd like to see him the way we caught him.
Take it off now.
Yes, sir.
Just a moment, Sergeant.
Don't give me an argument.
Before you carry out the colonel's orders, you better read this letter.
I don't intend to...
Take a look at the signature. Why, this is... Where did you get it? From the man who wrote it. You know the signature, don't you?
Sergeant, you may go.
What, sir?
At once. A masked man and I have a little business to discuss. Alone.
Yes, sir.
The letter was signed by the President of the United States and outlined the Lone Ranger's mission against the Black Arrow. For nearly half an hour, the officer and the masked man talked. Then the door of the cabin swung open.
It's the masked man, sir. He's trying to get away.
Don't be a fool, Sergeant. Hand over his guns.
Give us back to him, sir.
Here you are.
Thank you, Colonel.
The Indians as well.
Yes, sir.
Masked man, you believe that they won't try anything for 3 days.
Not until the dark of the moon. Their plan doesn't have a chance of succeeding before then.
How long will it take you to reach the village?
Not longer than 24 hours. But the chief is old. It'll take us longer to get back.
You're sure he has the real belt?
I'm sure.
And the Indians will realize the difference when they see it?
Colonel, when one sees the belt shining through the dark, it's easy to understand why the Indians believe there's magic in it. I can't describe the glow, but it's strange, unearthly, like starlight from the bottom of a canyon.
Hurry, masked man. Get the chief and the magic belts back here in time.
We'll do our best.
Adios. Good luck.
Come on, Silver. Hit him up. Now.
Well, Sergeant, you can take it from me. If he doesn't get back here before the dark of the moon sets in, we'll all be dogged. That was the Lone Ranger.
All night long, the flying hoofs of Silver and Scout thundered across the Badlands. At daybreak, the Lone Ranger and Tonto stopped to rest and water the mounts. Then into the saddle and on again, morning, midday, afternoon. The sun dropped behind the purple mountains, a blaze of gold. And not until the thin crescent of the waning moon had turned the sage to silver did Thundercloud's valley stretch before the masked man and his Indian companion. At last they reined up before the lodge where the chief was standing among his faithful braves. The story of Tomahawk's conspiracy was told, and then...
This is why Tomahawk has left the village of his fathers. It is of this I warned the masked man, Thundercloud.
You did well to warn him, granddaughter. But how can Tomahawk persuade the other chiefs to follow him into battle?
They'll think he's you.
That cannot be. I am old. He is young.
You'll do it by means of the belt that glows in the dark.
The magic belt is in the lodge of Thundercloud.
Torlock's made another one.
Him use foxfire. It cannot be the same. The glow from foxfire lasts but a short time. The magic belt has shed its light from a time Thundercloud cannot remember. No one knows the secret of its precious substance.
I understand that. But you must realize that the other chiefs have never seen the real belt. All they know is that it glows in the dark, and that you're the one who owns it. Just imagine this. There's no moon. All the campfires are put out. A chief appears wearing such a belt who says he's Thundercloud. The other Indians are going to believe him.
It may be so. What would you have me do?
Ride back to Fort Lariat with Tonto and me.
The way is long. Can the fort be reached in time?
We have until nightfall, 2 days from now.
Maybe storm come, then not wait for darker moon.
A storm would mean lightning. Tomahawk won't take a chance on his face being seen.
Until nightfall, 2 days from now.
There's time if we hurry.
Quickly, Gray Antelope. Let the black be saddled. Then bring me the magic belt.
Tawana! Morta, Neda, Tawana!
A few minutes later, Thundercloud was mounted on the black beside the Lone Ranger and Tonto on Silver and Scout. Gray Antelope appeared in the doorway of the chief's lodge. High above her head, she held the magic belt, its mysterious light shining like a beacon. A cry of wonder broke from the throats of the braves. The girl walked toward her grandfather and handed him the belt.
You are a great chief, Thundercloud, but the magic belt will increase your power many times. Let it bring strength to your arm and wisdom to your tongue. Let the great medicine of our fathers bring peace and honor to our people.
This the belt shall do. Menecta Redeno! Lead the way, masked man.
On, Silver!
On the night of the third day after the Lone Ranger and Tonto had ridden out of Fort Lariat, the colonel paced the parapet at the top of the stockade. There was no moon, but from the distant Badlands, the glare of the Indians' campfires lighted the sky. Their drums and chanting reached the stockade faintly like a whispered menace.
Well, Sergeant?
Nothing to report, sir.
No? This is one time when no news is bad news.
May I ask a question, sir?
Of course.
It's about the drums. Are they having a war dance?
No, Sergeant. We have that to be thankful for. It's only a ceremonial dance. You'll recognize the difference at once when you hear the war drums.
Did the masked mason say he'd be back tonight, sir?
He hoped to be back, but he might not come directly here.
Isn't there something that we can do, sir? Send out a scouting party or something? This waiting is getting on the men's nerves.
I've given my word that we won't try anything till I hear from the masked man. We're putting our faith in the Lone Ranger.
Yes, sir.
At that same moment, in a small, well-hidden camp not far from the Indian fires, Torlock handed Tomahawk a belt.
Only time for you to make your appearance, Tomahawk.
This belt I wear?
That's the one.
Light from it, not strong. Real belt glows brighter.
You don't know anything about that. Neither does anyone else around here. I just want to make sure you know what you're supposed to say.
Tomahawk, no.
I'm going to fire 3 shots. Then wait a little while and fire 3 more. That's the signal. Red Fox will tell the braves that's Thundercloud coming. But all the campfires must be put out. Not even a spark left.
That is good.
The darker it is, the more the belt will show up. The less chance there'll be of anyone recognizing you.
Tomahawk would lead braves into battle tonight.
Now, we've gone all over that. They aren't going to follow anybody, not even Thundercloud, until they've had their war dance. They can't have that without fires. Let them dance all the rest of the night and tomorrow. And tomorrow night, when it gets dark again...
Tomahawk will appear once more to lead them into battle.
Yeah. And here goes.
The signal from the cloud comes. Let all fire be put out. Let not spark, not ember remain. As we do honor the thundercloud and magic belt that shine in dark.
The Indians followed the instructions of the renegade. Soon the encampment was dark and silent. The braves expectant as they waited for thunder